You're a self-described political advocate.
I'm also a streamer.
Is this the more that you aspired to?
Yes.
To spend 3 weeks digging into Collargate?
Yes. That shit was fucking funny.
Why?
I don't know what to tell you.
Okay,
that was hilarious.
Please.
I am not a political activist.
So you don't care about politics?
Of course I do,
Okay.
but it's not 100% of what I do. I also talk about like
why-
my balls
you
moving
do
when
this
it's
on
hot.
your stream.
You know, I talk about my urine streams being split. I talk about shitting my pants in my car.
Yeah, I wish.
Am I
wish that
doing
you wouldn't make
praxis when I
comments
do
like
that?
It's really gross.
It's true. I shit my pants in the car. It happened. I'm not proud of it, but it happened.
Hutch, I'm sorry. You are as lazy and incurious as you accuse Hassan of.
Can I get an example?
Anytime that you think something or like you're unsure
Give me
about
a
something, you
specific
literally just ask
example.
ChatGPT. Your mind is wasting away
Wait,
with
hold
this stuff,
on.
Hutch.
Wait a second. You just said I look things up when I don't know things. You can't give me a single example. You're
Because I don't watch your stream.
Then what the f
How
do you know about how I
Literally, like,
operate?
I stopped watching your content 3 months ago.
There are a lot of people who think that Hassan isn't that bad. Hassan's trying to do a lot of real world work. All these people are wanting to actually improve things. I think that's not true. And I think that we need to make the people who think that, we need to convince them otherwise so that they will turn away from Hassan, turn away from these bad actors, in my opinion, in coalition with Democrats. That's my thought. But I want to, before we go on, I want to give Hutch a chance. So Hutch,
wait, hold on.
how you doing?
Let me keep listening for a little bit because I just want to hear what you guys are saying and eat my food and let me jump in after that.
Okay. Yeah, take your time. Go ahead.
Okay, so basically, my thing is that yes, of course. Like, do I agree that Hassan is doing something that is detrimental to the general space? Yes, I do agree with that. Okay, at the very worst, he does this voter apathy thing. The two sides are the same. Blah blah blah. And just shutting people off to the possibility that they get into politics and understand, okay, why does the AOC have to work in the system that she's working in? Why will Mamdani have to capitulate when inevitably he's going to need to do things? He's going to have to negotiate to get those things done. And there are going to be people who say that he's going back on his word. He's not blah, 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 blah. They're going to say all kinds of things without understanding why he's doing what he's doing, right? So my thing is, of course, Hassan does that thing. I'm just trying to catch the people who are more reasonable and try to draw them over, and the way that I happen to do it just doesn't involve that shame part of it, right? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that nobody else should do it. I understand why Pisco and Hutch have the back and forth that they do all the time. I just think that I don't know. I just think it's different strokes for different folks almost.
Okay, last thought, Puffin, then we'll cycle you out. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I just want to so a big part of why Kamala lost is because a lot of people that showed up to vote for Biden didn't show up to vote for Kamala. I understand that you're asking for a causal link from Hassan and these type of people's messaging to people staying home. I don't think you're going to get that. I think you're asking for a bit of a holy grail there when it comes to voter data. But I will say Hassan is still to this day saying that Kamala would have been as bad or worse as Trump. And
yeah, I think that, and if he, okay, to be honest, I don't watch the guy, but if he's saying that, that's a shit position. He should be made fun of that for that. Yes, I do agree with that. I just think that I don't think that it's a holy grail to say it if that's what you're kind of gonna go on as far as treating how what kind of a threat these people are. That's all I'm saying, right? If you're gonna treat them treat Hassan like this threat, then I need to see that these are the people I should be focusing my energies on. That's all I'm saying, right?
Have you ever seen data that would give you that information on any other?
I saw some data. I'm gonna be honest, it's been a while. I saw some data that did not indicate that, but it was also because it's not like people were coming out saying, okay, I didn't vote because of Hassan, right? That's it. I understand what you mean when you say it's hard to get that data. That's all I'm saying, though, is that I just want to see something, right? If you'll give me the data, I'll look at it and say, yeah, okay, maybe this is a bigger threat than we thought. But I would rather focus on the people who have been like, even if they've been like, they've learned from being burned by Trump, right? Like focusing on those people, focusing on the people who are willing to talk policies, focusing on people who are willing to see reason, rather than the people who have been like, you know, completely like gone down the fucking pipeline in terms of like they think Democrats are just as bad and you know, the mega chatters, whatever, you know, like you're not going to convince those people, right? Yeah, if you want to make fun of them, sure, go ahead.
I want to. Okay, Puffin, thank you for calling in, buddy. We do have a bit of a line. We want to make sure we get to as many people as possible. But
Yeah, peace.
okay. You all done with your yummies, Hutch? One more minute. Okay, we'll bring in another caller then. Let's see. Let's get this one on here. Hello.
Yo.
Yo, you're live. What you got? Are you Team Hutch or Team Pisco?
I am Team Hutch. I have a couple notes I'd like to bring up, but I did hear something
Just
now.
before you go, gang, where are the Pisco warriors? Okay, we've had like 3 Hutches in a row. If you're a Pisco warrior, DM me and we'll prioritize you for now. But go ahead.
I feel like your audience is very Hutch coded. I'm not gonna lie.
Maybe
just going off of that poll that you put on Twitter, right?
Probably, but it's not entirely right. So we want both sides to be represented as well as we can. But sorry about that. Go on, sir. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Sure. So yeah, the one thing Ice Beans just said that I wanted to mention real quick. I wouldn't say you're necessarily defending Hassan right now, but it sounds like we're defending attacking Hassan and creators similar to him. But then I also kind of heard like, hey, I don't really watch him that much, so I don't know what exactly he said. It does sound a little simp. Okay, sorry.
No, I'm not a Hassan. I'm not in any way of a Hassan simp. I'll say that straight up, right? When I say I don't watch him, I'm not. What I mean is I don't.
Are we allowed to say that word on Twitch? Can I get TOS for that?
I'm kind of similar to stuff that I'll hear Pisco say when defending the lefty tanky environment. Is kind of more like, oh, like I never heard them say like this extreme thing. Even in the discussion we're talking about, he wasn't familiar with Kyle Kalinske endorsing Jill Stein and stuff like that. So
right, but would you say
that's just like
yeah, but I guess my point is that like and you know, I'm not saying that I don't have that like defensive tone there, right? Mm-hmm. Of course it can like I'm totally open to that being it that way, right? And maybe this will put your mind at ease, right? What I'm seeing more often, right? And I don't like this, right? Is this almost the shift of where it's almost like an anti Hassan thing now. Like they think he's getting flack. Like there are people who think he's getting flack for things that he shouldn't be getting flack for, and there are people who think, oh, he's just getting shit on no matter what he does, right? Why? And it's almost like a okay, we need to support Hassan now when he does good things. I don't like that because in general, I don't like I don't like people going down the fucking Hassan pipeline. I would rather the people come in because they're attracted by, like, you know, again, baby's first lefty, and then they find more moderate people. They find more lib people. They find
Is that happening? Ice Beans?
It happened to me. You know where I come from, right?
That's because you're smart, intelligent, and a wonderful
hold on.
person.
No,
but I'm telling you, hold on, Ice Beans, please, if I may.
You don't know my origins, dude.
I don't know your origin story, Ice Beans, okay? But I do know, right, that I see them taking from us. I don't see them giving to us. Like, I don't see a reciprocal exchange where they're going down the lefty pipeline and then arriving at any sort of Democrat. In most cases, I don't see that. I could be wrong, but I don't see that. I see them going more and more anti-democrat as they go. They start as like a Bernie bro, and I know several of these people started as a Bernie bro. They wanted Bernie to win the election. They were down for like single player healthcare, all these things. They were socialism light. And they start to listen to Hassan. They start to listen to the Vanguard Boys. They start to listen to Shonda Black. They start to listen to all that kind of community.
They go down the pipeline. I'm not talking about.
They're just gone. They're just gone.
No, but
they don't come
right.
back.
No, and I understand what you're talking about, right? I'm not talking about those people. Okay, here I'll give you again anecdote. I know it's an anecdote, but it's me. Okay, I came in through Wash. I went into Demon Mama, okay, who is pretty lefty. I was in Demon Mama's like whole space for maybe 2 years. And at the same time, I was in Heem's community. And Heem's community was kind of like the lib thing that like slowly pulled me over bit by bit, you know, because it was a well-rounded community. I didn't get, of course I got flack for being a Demon Mama fan. I still sometimes get flack for being a Demon Mama fan, right? But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm telling you now. At this point, I would call myself a lib, right? Leftists don't want to call me leftist.
Okay.
So I just think that it's possible. There are people who come out, and I do see some cross-pollination between people who watch Hassan. You have that in your chat right now. People who watch Hassan.
Yeah, you know what they're saying?
No,
you know what they're calling me?
No, but
you know what they're talking to me about?
Yeah, but you understand. No, but you understand why. It's because you're shitting on their person, right? That I'm not saying that like. I'm just saying this is the dynamics you get, right? When you start, like, I would have gone to bat for Demon Mama back in the day,
Wait,
right? Until I started realizing like what her positions were.
Go ahead, Hutch.
So I'm curious, was there a particular moment that caused you to no longer tune into Vosh or Demon Mama?
Yeah, for Demon Mama, it was very specifically like her school take. Everyone knows about the school take, or. You know, it's fine. We don't have to get into it, but that was essentially there was a point in time where she basically like railed about like against mandatory schools. You know, like
I vaguely
schooling.
recall. Yeah, was that in the context of the truancy stuff with Kamala back in the day?
Yeah. Oh, I don't think it was. No. It was like completely different. She actually started out talking about like essentially how, neurodivergent kids aren't really like supported by the educational system, which then turned into a conversation about how she doesn't think schooling should be mandatory. Okay. Which then blew up into Twitch poll, and then everyone was talking about like this mandatory part. I don't think it had anything to do with like policy.
Okay, let me be more direct with the question. Like, was there ever a moment? Was there for both of them? Was there ever a moment where somebody directly confronted their rhetoric in a way that made you think about things differently, and then that caused you to stop tuning in, or was it all just like you listened to their takes and you disagreed?
No. It was. I would say it was a combination of like, it was a combination of obviously getting them getting pushed back on their takes in like from panels, from like people calling in and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But it was also like realizing, oh, there are people who have that like lefty like sentiment, who have that lefty like drive, but are more realistic about it, who understand, okay, like. Well,
let's just pause real quick because you did say that it was a combination of people pushing back on them in panels that got you to think about things differently. That's what I'm trying to do. That's why I take the tone that I do, is because there are certain things that are said in lefty spaces that are just adopted as truth, and so many influential creators repeat these oftentimes like complete like lies so often that it's just people they don't even fact check because so many people are saying it, and so they just assume that it's true. And I think that we need people going into these spaces and rather aggressively challenging these things that they say. Like the fact that the Vanguard very casually accused David Pakman of being paid to celebrate genocide, and then that just like he just casually threw that. I mean, that is a pretty outrageous thing to accuse someone, and he said it so flippantly, and it makes sense that he said it so casually when you look at that space and you realize, holy shit, like all of these creators are making these outrageous claims.
No, and look, you know, I understand what you've said. I understand what you mean. Okay, that kind of rhetoric absolutely needs to be pushed back on. But my only issue is that like this is something you said in that same panel, right? Or in that same, like, you know, almost in the same, like later that, right? You basically said you kind of understood Pisco's mindset, that he was going like that he was like when talking to people, you understand how in that moment you're sometimes trying to get them to like say the thing, right? Or like, okay, lay out all your shit on the table, right? Yeah. I think that and that's fine. It's just that I think if you can understand that, you know, I think that then it's just a moment of like, okay, yeah, you would have wanted him to push back more in that instance, but you also understand how in that instance, like,
oh,
is that me?
Yeah,
or
no, that's just my camera. You can still hear me, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, sorry about that. It's but you see what I mean? It's kind of I think it's just an expectations difference there, right? What matters more is like the actual thing, like the pushback. Which again, I agree. That kind of rhetoric, I will push back on. If you have somebody who is that casually,
I think
like
it's
toxic,
disqualifying. I think it's disqualifying rhetoric, and I think especially if you do it constantly, then at that point you've just demonstrated that you're somebody that will be the most charitable way to describe it is wildly irresponsible in your rhetoric to the point that it is destructive.
Look, I don't know these people who you were talking about, right? Like I'm more familiar with people like Hassan or Kyle Kulinski, right?
It applies to them
but
too.
I would say,
I mean,
I know.
I think her internet is not great.
Yeah, unfortunately. Okay, I
my internet's
you're roboting out.
bugging out
We can't hear you. Give us a second. Yeah, give us a second.
Yeah.
Caller, I want to make sure that you get a chance to have your say as well while Ice Beans fixes her stuff. Is there anything else you want to say before I let you go?
Yeah, sure. So if I could just briefly clarify what I was saying before, I wasn't trying to say like Ice Beans was taking the pro Hassan stance. I was just saying I think like I throw like a little bit of a yellow flag when I hear like, oh, I'm not too familiar with them saying that because I don't watch them enough when we're like taking a stance on like that. I feel like that's like important to be able to take a firm stance on this one way or the other. But that was just on that Ice Beans point. My main point I wanted to bring in was if you're taking the side of Team Pisco, or if you are Pisco and holding this position, I think you should have to assert or guess how much of Hutch's time is being spent on shitting on lefties versus the right, how much Pisco himself does this, what the ideal and maximum amounts of shitting on the left are, and does tone matter more, quantity, or what is it? Like define the limits, because to me it kind of just felt like talk like shitting on lefties is bad. Like anytime you're shitting on lefties, that time could be better spent shitting on the right. And I think like taking a full binary stance like that is kind of crazy. Like I don't know how accurate the data is. I just did a brief search. I'm seeing in terms of voting demographics, the progressive lefts voted at 86% in 2020, and outsider leftists voted around 57% in 2020. Like that to me isn't something like, oh, we can just ignore and like no one's going to vote and no one's going to be swayed type of thing. So okay. I just feel like we kind of got to define those things.
I agree. Thanks for calling in, buddy, though. Appreciate you, man. Yeah. Before we bring in the next caller, I just have a curiosity for Hutch. So at the beginning of the stream, here's how I characterized your position. I'm wondering if I did it correctly, and maybe you can clarify or correct me if I'm wrong. Your position, as I understand it, is that Kyle Kulinski, Hassan, all these people are a problem for the Democratic Party. And if they disappeared, the Democrats would win more than they do. Yeah. That they are siphoning from us and giving nothing back. That they're little, I don't know, just vacuums that are hoovering up people who would otherwise vote Democrat and turning them against either voting in general or making them vote for like crazy third party candidates.
I wouldn't use the word siphoning. I would say depress. They're depressing the vote.
Okay.
So I think they're probably causing, like, if they stopped covering politics tomorrow, I do believe that it would net Democrats votes. I think a lot of the people that tune into those streams and listen to their perspective and trust them as sources of information and analysis walk away with the impression of the Democratic Party that it is Republican light, basically barely better than the Republican Party, is I think the view that both of them hold. Like, I guess it would be valuable to establish, because we're talking about coalitions. What does the word coalition mean to you? Like, if we're talking about who should we invite into the coalition, who should we cooperate with? Like, what does that word mean? Because when I think
coalition
Wait,
for
hold on
what?
a second. Hold on a second. Wait. Before we move on to the coalition thing, wait, Hutch, you think that if like Hassan and his like sort of ilk, if you want to call it that, disappeared tomorrow, that all the people who have like you know, whether or not you believe that this is legitimate, people who have issues with the Democratic Party, their messaging, you know, their tendency to go back towards the status quo at times, right? Do you think that they would just, those people would kind of just disappear and get absorbed into the Democratic Party?
No, not all of them. Definitely not all.
Just enough of them. Just enough of them to win us elections. But there would still be people who.
I really don't know. But I never made the claim that leftists cost us the election. There's some data that shows that of the 19 million Biden 2020 voters that did not vote in 2024, 29% of them said that Gaza, Israel was the number one reason why they didn't do that. That amounts to something like over 5 million people. I don't know how you distribute those votes. Would it have made a difference in the swing states? Certainly would have given her the popular vote. But I've never made that claim. My point is that anybody who didn't vote for Kamala helped Donald Trump win the election. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that only in the sense that, like, yes, like materially speaking, they did not help.
So I just don't regard them.
No, but I just don't set myself against them. That's my difference. That you seem to set yourself against those people.
Well, I don't think we're on the same side. I don't think me and Hassan want the same thing. Like,
right,
when I say coalition, I mean a voting bloc. I mean a political movement, and the kind of coalition that I'm looking to be a part of and build out and like help shape in my own like very modest way in my little corner of the internet is one that is committed to beating Republicans in elections, every election moving forward for the rest of my life. And the way to do that most times is to vote for the Democrat. Obviously there's independent candidates that caucus with the Democrats, but for the most part, we're talking about helping to elect Democrats. Hassan Piker is not interested in helping elect Democrats. He is only interested in helping to elect the Democrats that he personally likes. That's it.
Sure.
He is not gonna. If you asked him right now, would you commit to, helping elect Gavin Newsom if he becomes the nominee in 2028? He is not going to say yes to that.
I guess the question I have, and before we bring in the next caller, because I do want to get more people, there's a couple of people who really want in. Pisco defenders, they say they are. So we're going to see what they have to say. But the question I would have, and maybe you can think about this while we bring the next caller, is, okay, so I agree with you, Hutch, that these people are not friends of the Democrats. They're not going to try to help the Democrats win. They're depressing turnout and things like that. The question becomes, what do we do about it? And I guess that's where, as I understood it, the argument was. Pisco, as I understand his argument, and maybe, again, you can correct me if you heard something else, that the fact that you are using your energy and time in kind of finger wagging against them instead of going after the people who are in power now, Trump and his cronies, is a waste of your time. And you should just ignore them because the bigger target, the more effective target is Trump. Would you consider that a fair representation of his
Pisco
argument?
thinks that the Vanguard and Kyle Kalinske spend most of their time going after Trump and are not actively hurting the Democratic Party. It's probably true that these days they spend most of their time going after Trump just because Trump is the one that's in charge now. He's in power and he's getting all these negative headlines. And, who's talking about the Democratic Party right now? They don't have any political power. So I just totally disagree with him on that. I think that I have a viewer of mine named Conduit. He made an hour and 45-minute video where he watched a week of Kyle Kalinske and he summarized what he saw. Really great video essay. I'm going to plug him. If anybody's listening, just look Conduit Kyle Kalinske and you'll find it. And you'll find every time basically every time Kyle Kalinske talked about Democrats, it was disparagingly. And a lot of the stuff that he says is just wrong. Like a lot of his premises are just wrong. A lot of the facts that he spews out are just wrong. He's constant, and he's been doing this for over 10 years. And so the idea that this guy is on the same like coalition as me, we do not have the same goals. Clearly, like don't have the same goals.
All right, Hutch.
Okay, let's bring some callers in while you guys. We'll start doing like 2 at a time just to get.
Also, Hutch, you might have blown Conduit up, but Conduit started with me. Okay.
Okay, you can claim him.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, we have teeny tiny Tony, who says that he's the strongest warrior. And then we have Dev. Okay, I don't know if Dev's a Pisco guy, but we'll find out. What are your thoughts here, gang? Teeny, are you Team Pisco?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, are you Team Pisco or are you
I am Team Pisco.
Okay,
Tony,
give us your thoughts.
No,
here.
but let's get ahead of this. Tony, I'm a Destiny orbiter. I co-sign everything he says and does.
I'm not here to talk about that.
Okay, I just want to preempt it. I just want to preempt it.
Oh, do you guys know each other?
Are you stirring the pot already?
I
Hutch?
concede everything that you have to say about Destiny. Whatever it is, it's
I've
all
already
true.
seen that, Hutch. Thank you.
It's all of it. All of it's true.
Thank you, Hutch. Thank you. So, do you want me to explain why I'm?
Yeah. What? So why are you Team Pisco? Go ahead.
So I am Team Pisco because in general I agree that people like Hassan and people like Mike from PA and people like these extreme tankies, they are they are in a lot of ways helping Trump win by encouraging things like the non-committed movement or the uncommitted movement, whichever that was called. But another issue with that is that this non-committed, uncommitted movement was extremely small and insignificant in the election. There's also, I know Hutch has seen it, there's the IMEU poll, the Institute for Middle East Understanding Policy Project, where he's getting the 29% of voters who didn't vote for Harris in 2024, but voted for Biden. An issue with this, there are several issues, I think, with this poll and trying to extrapolate from it.
Okay.
Because the poll is selecting specifically for people who cast it. So it is polling people nationally who voted for Biden in 2020 and cast a ballot for someone else besides Kamala Harris in 2024.
Can I just ask you, like, I don't know, like, I guess my question is, do you agree with Pisco when Pisco says that Hutch is spending too much time attacking these people? So I understand that you agree with the facts of the matter, that Hassan is generally leading people down tanky pipelines. But as I understand it, Pisco's argument is that Hutch is spending way too much of his time and energy beefing with these guys when he should be going after Trump. Do you agree with that, and why?
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay, so why? Why do you agree with that specifically?
Well, one is, I was trying to explain, like, it's a thing that was done to death on Live and Learn. They went through these like statistical analyses, looked at the voter bases and all this, and these people just aren't that influential, but they do take up like if you watch Hutch's stream, if you look through his YouTube uploads, a significant portion, I think, edging to 50%, maybe more, definitely more sometimes, is covering people from this snark adjacent left, people like Hassan, people like Denims, BE, Kyle Kalinske. There seems to be like a particular fixation that he has with covering these people that is greater than I think is necessary to say that, like, these people have some bad takes and we can kind of shove them to the side.
Okay. Well, what do you have to say to that, Hutch? You're spending over 50% of your time attacking left when you could be attacking MAGA? What's going on?
That's not much of an argument, though, is it? Like, my view is that this contingent of leftist creators are doing real damage to the discourse. I've never made the claim that you can lay the blame on disaffected lefties for Kamala's loss. I never made that case.
Well,
I think there's a much stronger
Right.
case to make in 2016 that might have been the case, but not in 2024. However, when we dove into the math, the logic of the math, and Ice Beans, you agreed that if somebody did not vote for Kamala Harris, that was material support. It amounted to material support for Donald Trump.
Me agreeing with the people that the people who stayed home helped elect Donald Trump doesn't mean that's how I agree. I don't agree with how you're going forward.
No, I never said that. I never said that. But you agreed, right? And Tony,
So
would you?
I don't. I also don't agree that is then oppositional, right? Because
don't
these
understand.
people are okay. When you say that these people helped elect Donald Trump,
they helped the
you say
opposition to Kamala Harris.
Yes.
So how are they not opposition?
Right. You don't treat them the same.
Why? They're opposition in practice.
No, you didn't. You didn't. No. Okay, yes, but you're misunderstanding. You're acting as if they were your enemy, which for the purpose, if you look at it as a zero-sum game, they are there. They are your enemy. If you treat them like your enemy, if that's fine. If that's your approach you want to take, I just don't agree that that's.
It's just what it seems like people like you guys
I
have
don't
more
think-
of an issue with me treating them like enemies when they proudly, openly position themselves as enemies to the Democratic Party.
I agree with you that they are. Can I speak?
Yeah.
I agree with you that they are opponents, and that they can be problems to overcome, that they can create problems to overcome, but that their influence is very small, especially compared to the amount of coverage that you give them.
You seem to think that there should be some standardized mathematical formula where I guess we're just going to take all the social media channels of every. Hold on, let me just say something real quick. You can speak. We should tally up the total viewership of each individual political channel and then assign like a numerical value. Okay, like let's say, conservatives control like 60% of the airwaves and lefties control like 40% or whatever. And then I'm supposed to fit in just like, your idea of proportionality means nothing to me because there is no issue in my mind with, if I wanted to focus 100%, literally 100% on lefties that I think are damaging the discourse, why is there not space for creators to do that? Like, what is immoral about that?
You can do that.
Sorry, please. I get a limited time to talk.
Let Tini go.
Go ahead.
So my issue isn't with covering them at all. My issue is with the amount of coverage when there are other things going on. So if you remember, during Hassan Collargate, which you said you covered for about 3 weeks continuously during the government shutdown, if you recall.
Yep, I do.
You dedicated multiple entire streams to this issue, which in my view is a non-issue. I think it doesn't matter. Like the Collargate thing isn't going to flip anybody's mind on these issues. It's not going to change anybody's votes.
That was just for fun, buddy. There was not praxis there. That was just a funny story.
Okay, but here we are criticizing the amount of time you spend, that you dedicate to particular people, that you dedicate to covering these particular issues, and you cover Hassan a lot more than is warranted.
Can I ask you?
Wait,
Tony,
hold on. Wait,
can I ask
real
you a question?
quick. Let me just say something real quick,
Okay.
and then do you understand that I could use this logic and spin it right back around on you? Why are you talking about me when ICE is out killing people in the streets?
I am not.
I'm 1/50th
I am
the
not a
size of
political
Hassan's
advocate.
audience.
You're a self-described political advocate.
I'm also a streamer. It's also my job to entertain people.
You said before you started streaming politics, when you were a game guy, that you wanted to do more with your platform. Is this the more that you aspired to?
Yes.
To spend 3 weeks digging into Collargate?
Yes. That shit was fucking funny.
Why?
I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, let me
That was
ask you a question.
fucking hilarious.
Please,
Tony.
I am not an activist. I am not a political
So you're
activist.
not. So you don't care about politics.
Of course I do, but it's not 100% of what I do. I also talk about like my balls moving when it's hot. You know, I talk about my urine streams being split. I talk about shitting my pants in my car.
Yeah, I wish.
Am I doing
that you
praxis when I do that?
It's really gross.
It's true. I shit my pants in the car. It happened. I'm not proud of it, but it happened.
But to his point, Tony, if I hold on, stop. To the point, Tony, and I just want to ask you, right? Like, would you have the same issue with Hutch that you do now if instead of going on Collargate, he did a 3-week Collargate thing, if instead he'd done 3 weeks of just Arc Raiders and he didn't talk politics at all, would you still have the same criticism?
I would have the same criticism, yeah.
Interesting. So, do you, like, for example, I'm having a discussion tonight.
It's also like his audience doesn't like the Arc Raiders stuff.
Just real quick, can I finish my question? I'll let you speak and I'll let you answer. Right?
It's okay.
I promise. I promise.
There's like a couple hundred that like it. I'll have you know.
If like instead of covering ICE and stuff tonight, I'm covering what some might consider drama, right? Lefty on lefty action, Democrats versus leftists, right? Do you have that same criticism that you do for Hutch for me? Because I wanted to do something that was different just for my own fucking mental health.
Do you spend like a significant portion of your time saying that you are a political advocate for a particular thing and that you're trying to say, like you're trying to gatekeep the movement from certain people to say that we should keep these people out, we should keep some people in?
Yes. I think that gatekeeping is good, and gatekeeping keeps a movement healthy. One of the things that
I think it's bizarre
if I may finish, one of the arguments I have here, and I don't know if this is Hutch's argument, but it is mine, is that one of the problems with Hassan and his cohort isn't just the people that watch him, it's the people that associate him with Democrats who think when they think Democrat, they think Hassan. When they think Democrat, they think extreme left, radical, crazy people, right? Tankies and things like that. One of the reasons that I think it's important to criticize Hassan is to create a clear distinction in the persuader people's minds so they can be like, oh, well, we can vote for the Democrats because they're not like Hassan. Does that make sense as an argument?
Yeah, that makes sense.
How many of those people are there? How many people actually like think of Democrats as like Hassan is the representative of Democrats?
Of tankies in general and the extreme communist left?
So if you ask them who progressives are and they tell you Hassan, that's not the real world. Okay. The real world does not know Hassan that well.
Okay.
No. It's us terminally online fucks.
I promise you, I know
of real people. Yes, I know real people
who think Democrats are extremists when they're not.
Okay, from the right. I'm talking about people.
I'm talking center and center right people.
Okay.
Who stayed home because they saw no difference between Kamala and Trump.
Right. And they think and Hassan is their champion for the left. That's who they think of when they think of
his. It doesn't have to be him specifically, but his kind.
No. But this is no. Okay. No. This is no. Do
you know what a representative is or a symbol?
No, this is the crux of. This is the crux of the argument for people who are defensive of Hassan. Right? They just don't see Hassan as representative in the real world. No, that is not true. No.
Okay, he has millions of viewers.
I'm not saying
he has articles written about him in major newspapers.
Do you think he's swung the election?
That no one knows who Hassan is.
Nobody made that claim. Nobody made it.
No, but do you think that's possible? Do you think that's possible?
Hassan? No, he's not Joe Rogan. He did not single-handedly. He did not single-handedly swing that election
on a few 100,000.
This is my best guess, but I don't think the numbers are there for him to single-handedly swing an election when the margins were what they were. Now, Rogan, that's a different story. He might have single-handedly helped to swing that election, but not Hassan. I'm not saying that to disparage him. He's obviously a massively successful streamer, but I never made that claim. I never said that Hassan is responsible. I said he contributed to a climate of fierce anti-democratic party rhetoric in the run-up to the election.
I'll agree with that. I just don't and
so
this
he
is where I
contributed then, right? That's what I'm saying. He contributed.
No. I agree that he contributed. I've never disagreed with that, right?
That's my point.
I'm just saying, and again, my criticism, to the extent that it exists, is just play to your fucking strengths. Like, if you actually think that Hassan deserves this level of, like, scrutiny, sure, go ahead. It's not my cup of tea, but I'm not going to stop you from doing it.
Okay.
You're just probably not going to get you're not going to get the lefties who would want to stick around and listen because you're shitting on their guy, which that's fine. If that you don't want them in there, that's okay. I just don't think that it's necessarily an effective way to peel off those lefties, right? They're not going to naturally sit around and wait in your chat if you don't hear them out, right?
But I think it's not just about the lefties who exist now, it's the lefties that they'll get in the future, right? We're looking at things that people who may not be in any pipeline right now, the younger generation, that would go down Hassan.
Yeah, that's what. But that's
we need
that's
to stop
exactly
that from happening.
No,
that's what I'm arguing.
exactly.
But
right.
before you go on, I want to hear from Dev. Dev's been very quiet. Dev, what are your thoughts here?
Well, I mean, I don't really have anything to say about this specific part of the conversation. That's
well,
why
what did you come to talk about?
Yeah. So wait, hold on. You can't hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, good. No, this is like a new setup I have. I'm just making sure that all works. Okay. But as long as it sounds good, that's fine. Okay, yeah. So, Wick, when I was watching the first part of the stream, what it sounded like to me, the conversation that you were having was Team Hutch versus Team Pisco, and
yes.
the idea is basically like, should you be punching right now, or should you be punching towards the far left right now? Which one of these two things you should be doing? I think that's the wrong way to frame the conversation. And I think that's one of the big problems that the Democrats have right now, is that they need to frame the conversation in such a way that it puts the communists and MAGA on the same team, because they are on the same team. They're both anti-democracy. And that's how you have to frame that conversation. You say, listen, we are against anyone who is anti-democracy. And that means we're against Hassan, and that means that we're against MAGA. And so it has to be liberals versus authoritarians, not should we punch left or right.
That's fair. Thoughts on that, Hutch?
Yes. This is not about. I don't make a distinction between tankies and MAGA. In my mind, they're on the same team. If you're illiberal, if you think that we should just speed run towards like authoritarian rule, then we're not on the same team. We don't share the same coalition. Hassan Piker has just outwardly described his strategy of what's called entryism. You know, he went on this podcast called the Deprogram Podcast, which is this fucking podcast of these two idiots. They're super radical leftists or whatever. And he just very plainly talked about like, well, it's going to be really difficult to sell socialism to people. So we're going to launder it in with social democratic policies. And he said that like it was a negative thing. He said social democratic policies in a negative kind of way. His whole thing is to advocate for that as a means to push for something more radical down the line. He is not looking to uphold liberal democracy. Why would I like, why is it controversial for me to treat him as opposition when he wants, is it Sleepy Davo? Is that your Dev? He does favor a system that is a authoritarian leftist, you know, dictatorship of the proletariat. That's what he's going for. I don't want that. That's a fucking nightmare to me.
And yes, it is, Dev. I've been on panels before, actually. But I had a debate a couple of days ago, in fact, with like a far lefty, and he basically straight up said, yeah, listen, the best way for socialists to dismantle neoliberalism is to just help Trump. And then after, like, and Trump, like, they obviously don't like Trump, but after Trump's government collapses, we can come in and save the day. It's like they are very open about this. They hate liberals more than they hate the far right. So treat them as if they're the same thing, because they are the same thing.
Do you think, Dev, do you think that the people who genuinely espouse this and also have like the means to, do you think, like, how much of a threat do you think these people are?
Which people specifically?
Like the people you just mentioned, the people who, you know, genuinely push that you know, libs are just as bad as conservatives, you know. They often say libs are worse than conservatives. It's all going. it's well, as bad as, right? Like there's nothing for it but a complete reset. Like capitalism needs to come down. We need a fucking revolution. Like these people, right? Like how much of a threat do you think they are? Do you think that they know? Do you think that they know? Do you think that they understand policy? Do you think that they like know how to campaign, know how to canvass, know how to do all these things? Or do you think that they're? Or would you agree with my view that for the most part, the people who push this kind of rhetoric, all they know is to just get people to stay home. Like that's the most that they do. They might do.
I agree with you there, but people staying home is also bad, right? Like
I understand that. I'm just saying it's a different. I'm just saying that it's a different problem, right?
Sure.
Than like pipeline, tankies, communism, that sort of shit, right?
Sure. But I guess the way I see it is that like most individuals don't really know much about policy. They don't really know much about politics at all. Most most individuals can't do all that much. But what the far left does is they help MAGA. So you should treat them as if they are MAGA, as if they are the same thing as a low level guy.
I think that's a good way to like look. I take your point, Dev. That's a great way to frame it. And I think I will be stealing that going forward, just to be clear, right? I will
no problem.
You steal all my ideas from let me put it this way.
Quickly, and then then we got to get to Tony, and then we're gonna last words for Tony, and then we're gonna cycle out.
Yeah. I just think that there are better ways to like. I just think that there are, of course, if you want to dunk on lefties, that's your content. I'm not gonna stop you. Like, you know, I know some people are still addicted to Twitter. Lefties all over Twitter, right? Still, even in this day. I understand that. I'm not going to stop you from that. I'm not going to yuck your yum, right? I just think that there are going to be people, for example, like Soy Pill, right? Lefty adjacent, but still understands things. He is still a lib. There's this guy, GusX Broadcast, who he is a lefty. Yeah, he watches some of this problematic stuff, but he also understands policy. He understands the Supreme Court. He understands these things. And there are who are coming in who are Hassan adjacent, and then they stay and they understand, okay, yeah, AOC is not the fucking scourge of the earth, right? I want more of these creators, and I would rather encourage them than discourage them. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't think we're discouraging them because they're willing to work with us.
No,
it's the ones who are saying,
no.
Hold on, stop. It's not those people. It's not the soy pills of the world that we're criticizing here, right?
Right.
It's the people who say the Democrats are just as bad as the Republicans, and you know, democracy is capitalism in decline, all this shit. If you can agree to a certain base level of acceptance, like we believe in democracy, we believe that the Democrats are better than the Republicans and that you should vote Democrat, at least in this environment, then welcome to the club.
Right. But that's not, that's not enough though, right? Like, okay, Hutch, if Hassan said, okay, that like, if he said, okay, yeah, I'll vote for Kamala, would you suddenly stop treating him as opposition?
Probably for the campaign. Yeah. Like if he really got on the same page,
let Hutch answer.
If he got on the same page, I would probably tactically hold fire until after the election. But I mean, like, by the same page, I mean more than just, you know, yeah, I'll vote for Kamala, but she basically loves genocide, and I'm gonna feel really ashamed to do it. That's not. You have not met my threshold.
No, I'm not talking. I'm not talking
about
that.
But if you meet my threshold, if you meet my threshold, and it's during an election, then I would for sure, I think, yeah, tactically hold fire.
Right. But what your threshold, I would just say that what your threshold is might still disqualify him, even if he said like, okay, yeah, go vote for Kamala, right?
Yeah, it would have to go beyond. It would have to go beyond.
I'm not saying half-assed. I'm just saying that, like, I think you would take into account his other actions, like the voter apathy stuff, right? Like, you wouldn't just take a lip service, go vote for Kamala. That's my point.
I would take that during an election cycle. I would take that gleefully, sure. But that's not going to happen. So, I mean, this is a useless hypothetical. He's never going to do that.
Yeah, Tony, last word, then we're going to cycle you out. Last word.
Sure. I want to bring up a wording from, there was something Dev said there where he was saying that he views MAGA and these extreme far lefties as basically the same thing. An issue is that I'm going to take Pisco's wording that people like Hassan and his orbit and those, the tanky left, are more proximate allies to the Democrats than MAGA. So we have Hassan voted for Harris. I know that had to be like dragged kicking and screaming out of him, but he did vote for her. I believe most of his audience who did vote voted for her. There are leftist communist creators like the Vanguard who are more open and more than willing to have these kind of conversations. Same with Straighterade, who canvassed for Harris. Same with Ogreboy, who I see over there in the waiting room. So we do have like these allies, and like I agree that Hassan and them will say things that are harmful, and that they did contribute to something like the non-committed movement. But the non-committed movement, if we remember, was like 20 people standing outside the DNC and like point whatever % of the vote against Biden in some primary. It was like nothing. But there is a trend that we see where people are fixating on Hassan in a way that I think is excessive.
Okay.
Yeah, excessive, unhealthy. Unhealthy is a good word, I think. Like, you may remember, really quick, there was Pisco posed a question to Destiny, who would he vote for president between Hassan and Trump? He said Trump. He said he would vote for the guy who supported Jan 6 over the guy who supported October 7. And I think it's...
you disagree with that. Okay. Thank you, Tony, for being here.
Thank you.
I would Minecraft myself if you forced me to choose between, Trump and Hassan.
No, I think that's hold on. I think it's very important we all answer right now. Hassan
I would
or Trump?
Minecraft myself if you forced me to choose between those two.
Okay. So you're taking the gun to the head. All right, you two. What about you, Wick? What are you picking?
All that bullets looking mighty tasty, but I think honestly,
be very careful. I'm judging.
During Trump won, I would have chosen Trump 100%.
No,
during Trump 2,
you know
that's a much harder question, and
you want to give
don't know.
Hassan Piker nuclear weapons?
That's what I'm thinking.
Let me explain
my answer.
You think Hassan would be
I think Hassan, if he had power, I think Hassan, if he had power,
in the office,
we would see ICE versus Israelis right now. They wouldn't be hunting immigrants. They'd be hunting Israelis.
I'm telling you
We'd see the
right
exact
now.
same thing we're seeing now with ICE, only it would be in Jewish neighborhoods.
I'm telling you right now.
I absolutely think that would
They wouldn't be re-education camps. They would be re-education retreats. The people would be cared for.
Hassan in the presidency,
comfortable recliner chairs,
would be
3
as
meals
bad
a day.
as Trump won. Okay, I'll tell you that much. He will not be effectual. He will not. I'm just saying. This is a no-brainer that everyone is failing at.
Hold on, no.
What am I thinking crazy?
This is a world where he can choose his cabinet. He can choose the appointees. Can you imagine Casey Tron as Casey Tron as head of the DHS? Could you imagine Denims as Pam Bondi in the Justice Department? Can you imagine these people?
Negotiating skills. No, the cult of personality with Trump has gone. You delusional, absolutely delusional. He would be as bad as Trump.
I disagree.
At worst, he would be as bad as Trump.
Okay, I want to hear from our caller. I want to hear from our caller. Ogreboy, go ahead.
Every other time I've done the virtual camera shit, it hasn't been flipped backwards like this, but for some reason on yours it is, which is weird.
Sorry.
You just have to flip it again.
Do the old double flip.
I don't know how to help you.
While I tinker with that for like another moment, what happened here? Because I thought the whole point was Pisco and Hutch. Isn't that that's the title of the stream?
That was the call-ins, but if people want to talk about different things, they can talk about different things.
Got to be flexible, bro.
I mean, just so that we can get out in front to Team Pisco, obviously. I mean, what are we doing?
Okay, why are you Team Pisco? Do you think that Hutch is taking too much time to criticize lefties and Hassan?
For the most part, I think it's not. Look, whatever he does with his content, I mean, it's whatever, right? At the end of the day, he's Granted, he's infinitely larger streamer than myself. I'm like a part-time hobbyist, if you will. You know, he gets 1,000 people, but at the end of the day, it's a lot of people don't even know who the fuck he is, right? Right? I mean, he can do whatever he wants if we think about it.
There's no way. All right.
I mean, come on, right? I mean, I get like single digits on a good night. I'm bowing in your general direction, but if you want to do dog collar shit all day, that's, I mean, why?
Hey, I'm happy. I'm happy that Hassan lives in a country where he can prosper and pull 30K viewers, and that's great. I never said, you know, go nuts.
Yeah, but
that's
I mean,
great.
For what it's worth, the inverse that I do actually really think highly of Pisco at the end of the day, he usually tends to take a more principled stance on shit. He sticks to, he's more inclined to, I can't fuck, oh, whatever. It's fucking still backwards. Oh wait, no, never mind. I got it finally. He generally tends to stick to law, stick to constitution, stick to how things apply to news in the moment. When he does do debates, it's usually not filled with gotchas. It's, you know, he's stays away from drama. I think when you're trying to
stop. Come on.
Yeah. What? No.
He doesn't talk about Asmongold like every other stream. Like, are you seriously saying that he doesn't?
Pisco talks about Asmongold every other stream.
Somebody tallied it up, and he talked about
Asmongold every other stream.
And he talked about, I think Ethan, somebody tallied it up like 40 streams in a row or something like that. This idea that he doesn't do drama, give me a fucking break. Come on, stop.
Yeah, he also does Collins, and that's actually, that's an element that irritates the holy shit out of me, is that when you have someone with a decent, that's an actual lawyer, has a legal background, has the ability to fucking give you insight on shit, and then when the people that join in, because Collins are a part of his content, right? Isn't that fair to say?
Sure, he does Collins, but he does drama.
And you don't know what his content is? Yeah, and when people join the thing, and as opposed to trying to ask like principled shit related to the case of the moment or whatever it might be.
Wait, hold on. Are you talking about?
In the first,
are you talking about Hassan or Pisco?
Doing is like,
he's talking about Pisco.
Pisco. Okay, I'm sorry. That's
holy shit.
I thought you were talking about Hassan.
He's talking about, yeah. I thought you were a little off your mark there when you're talking about. Well, he's talking about Asmongold every other day or whatever the fuck. A little weird.
Okay, now that we're on the same page. Okay.
As I was saying. The idea being is that he does tend to stay away from drama for the most part. He does end up entertaining it somewhat because Collins are a part of his content. So when it comes down to it, it's irritating, but he will get people in his Discord that are like, Hassan said this and Destiny said that. And it's like, oh my God, fucking kick them out. Like, move on to something more substantive. But by and large, he does stay to more substantive shit. So, you know, I think he's got a hell of a lot of value.
The premise, it seems like the premise here is that there's some universal standard for what is good content. If that plays to his strengths and he enjoys doing that, and there's a market for that, and there's a demand for that, and he's satisfying his viewers like demands or whatever, then great. Why does everybody have to do this kind of approach? Why?
Why does everyone have to do that kind of approach?
Yeah, you're asking me, why don't I be more like him? Well, I'm not him. I'm just a completely different person.
No, you're jumping to a conclusion there. I'm not saying you have to be more like him. The thing is, between the two, who do I prefer more, right?
Okay, maybe this is a misunderstanding on the prompt. So they had an argument last night on Live and Learn where they had two competing positions. So when I'm saying Team Hutch or Team Pisco, I'm saying which argument that they made do you prefer? If we're talking about who's better, like in general, that's not the question. I don't like that.
To be fair, though, Wick, when you position it like that, you're gonna get. That's what you're gonna get.
I understand, but that's why I'm look.
But I thought this was about tactics. I thought this was
limit in these titles. Okay, I can't just put a whole nuanced little.
You can't put a 5-paragraph thing in your prompt.
But the context.
You could have put me as Django and you as
Divine, here.
No, but the context.
Let's stay with this for a moment.
I want to give it to Hutch. I want to give it to Hutch real quick, just real quick.
But the context here is obviously about political strategy, like broader strategy. It's not about like your personal preferences. It's about like what would be the most effective thing at accomplishing your goals. And I'm not sure me and Ogreboy have the same goals. I really don't. I don't think we do. I mean, what are you?
I don't think you and Pisco. To be fair, I don't think you and Pisco also have the same goal in that regard.
I think we do. I think he's all about electing Democrats, but we just have disagreements on some of the particulars, and we get into that.
Right, right. But that's what I mean, though, is that like with going back to the oppositional thing, right? You're okay with not having these people in your like coalition.
More than that, I think that some people we should make public efforts to distance ourselves from them.
Right, and he just doesn't. So I would say in that regard, you don't have the same goal. Like your goal audience is not the same.
No,
we disagree. Coalition language is goofy as fuck, by the way.
We disagree on tactics.
Just absolutely.
Yeah,
goal
you
is
disagree.
the same.
No, hold on a second. No.
Yes.
You disagree on tactics, but you also disagree in that your ideal, like who you envision the Democratic Party as, is different.
No, I didn't say that. I said both him and I, like our main goal is to like beat Republicans and help Democrats.
Yeah, that's
we disagree
the overarching
on
goal.
Tactics.
Right.
So given the current topics in the moment, talking about police violence and things like that, how much do you know about escalation of force, rules of engagement, that sort of shit?
I looked into it like a cursory search like last week, but
like a little bit, right?
So
the idea is,
wait, hold on.
The idea is when you approach
if you ask
something.
my stream how much I covered these shootings, they will tell you that it was overwhelmingly
okay, cool.
what I was covering for like the last 3 weeks. Not that I need to fucking satisfy your standards, but go ahead.
Okay, that wasn't anything to do with what I was about to say, but thank you for that. When you get someone's attention, entry-level attention for the first time, and you immediately go from 0 to 100, by and large, you're going to come across, I don't know, I'm trying very hard to moderate my language, icy beans?
Yeah,
so if I do end up swearing, I don't know you at all, and I'm not trying to be rude, but if I do end up swearing,
you can swear. You can swear.
No slurs, but swearing is fine.
No.
Okay,
Slurring is fine. Go ahead.
If you go 0 to 100 right off the rip, you're just going to come across like a toxic cunt, and nobody's going to even want to engage with anything you're doing.
I mean,
meanwhile, Pisco, on the other hand, has an ability. You're going to want to work up a rapport with some people, or especially with other communities. You're going to want to have to try to get their trust on certain things so that in turn down the road, you can turn around and show them why something's wrong.
I mean, I feel good. I feel good about the audience that I've built. I get to do this for a living.
Everybody knows you feel good about the audience, but
no, but
how
no. But we're talking about numbers. You're saying
point.
I would do better if I did this, or that, and it's like I've been doing this for fucking 16 years, and I'm still at it. And
yeah,
I'm,
your
like,
pockets are probably fine, but how
on,
good you are for the party is
you're
entirely
bringing
different.
Up money into this. I mean, I didn't bring that into this, but I'm just saying you're trying to give me career advice, and I'm telling you that my numbers went up after I started leaning into politics.
Hold on. I think we're having two different. Ogre, please. Hutch, please. Hutch. All of you, stop, please. Please. I think we're missing each other. So let me bridge this gap. As I understand it, Ogreboy isn't talking about your specific audience. Mm-hmm. What he's trying to say, Hutch, is that Pisco's method of communication and dealing with issues will bring more Democrat people to the Democrat to vote Democrat than your method will. That's his claim. Right.
Well, we're circling back to the whole, you do want like a universal standard then, right? Like you don't seem to be open to the idea that different creators are going to have different strategies that are going to appeal to different people, right?
No.
You don't think so?
No. What I'm suggesting is a little bit of an ability to modulate just a tiny bit more, right? When you start off at 100, you're going to chase people away. For example, the guy that the people keep throwing the tweets at, do you even know that guy's name? The one that you keep just some Green Party asshole. Do you even know who that was?
Nope.
No clue.
Nope.
So,
I know he's a fucking idiot. I know that.
Okay, sure, he's a fucking idiot.
Hella dumb. But
I know more about that guy. I don't like that guy, and I know more about that guy than you do. Great. I know where he comes from. I know the struggles and shit that he's had in his life. I know more about the attempts that he's made as a streamer.
I don't care.
But you not caring is kind of the point, right?
He's a fucking idiot, and he says stupid shit, and he's a fucking arsonist who deliberately tried to sabotage the Democratic. He's going to do it again in 2028. I'm going to say the same shit. Fuck off. Don't vote for her. I'm not going to beg you. Go away. We don't want your vote. Fuck off.
Ogre.
Do you understand how that looks to the outside world?
I don't care. I don't care how it looks to you.
That's the point.
I don't care how it looks to you. You are projecting. You are assuming the responsibility of speaking for the rest of the world. You're just projecting your own shit, bro. I don't care what you think. I don't care what he thinks. That's it.
Ogre. Okay.
The conversation's
I'm-
been about normies, right?
Well,
Yes.
let's
Yeah,
hold
that's
on
my. Okay, so this is my
real quick, and then we do got a cycle. So
Yeah. So Ogre. So I am I'm more sympathetic. Wait, am I roboting? Okay, never mind. I'm more sympathetic to that approach, the approach that you seem to be signaling towards. I don't know exactly that approach. Okay, at this point in time, what I try to do is I try to pull those normies, pull those more of the lefty normies who can also understand policy, who can also debate, and who are also, yes, they might have issues with the Democratic Party, but they're still willing to work with them if it means that they can get anything of theirs eventually, implemented, right? So my question is, are you advocating for people who to being empathetic to people who like essentially are clearly not going to they need a lot more work done in order to get them to that stage? Are you saying, like, of course, being empathetic?
Let
I'm
me see
saying
if I
like
can answer.
yeah,
Let me
go
see
ahead.
if I can answer your question with this, and in turn, stay on the overall topic,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Online, I'm the Hassan crazy, unhinged dick suck, the tattoo guy. All
yeah,
these
do you have a
things and
tattoo of
more.
Hassan? I'm
Yes.
just curious. Do you? Okay.
Also have one of like Sam Cedar and Michael Brooks, Colin Kaepernick.
Fair
got
enough.
a,
Okay. Fair enough. Now I know.
Logo
Carry
on my
on.
boobie. But I'll say this, right? For as much weird shit as I've said online or said on Twitter, for the commentary that I've made about being angry at the politician not being an effective enough public servant, as opposed to blaming the electorate as Hutch wants to do constantly. Pisco talked to me, had to go back and forth with me, and at the end of the day, got me to realize that I was fucked up for not voting for Kamala. Pisco did that, not you, for what it's worth.
Everybody's but Ogreboy, not everybody is like you. Do you understand that? So that I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. And that approach from Pisco worked with you. But you don't get to say that because it worked in me that it's going to be more effective broadly. You're just projecting at that point.
So Ogre, no, hold on, Ogre. So because okay. Again, like
Quickly,
I mean, like
then we do gotta let him have the last word so he can go.
Yeah. Like I said, that was sort of not exactly that. I had a little bit more of a combative approach, and it was also over the period of like years, right? But I also had a sort of similar, pulling back towards like center or left or whatever the fuck. And my thing is, I understand that there are some people who are going to look at somebody and say the amount of time and effort that I would have to spend, like essentially like deconstructing your positions and like reeling you back from like sort of some of the poison that's been given to you. That's not worth my time and energy. Do you what do you think about that? Like just like with conservatives,
well, hold on.
right?
Let him answer, but then also incorporate your kind of like closing thoughts. So we can,
it has to be a case by case basis. It has to be something where you're if it's supposed to be a one-off conversation and you go at 100 miles an hour the entire time or whatever, and it's for the entertainment, blood sports or whatever, that's fine. When you're a normie person that's trying to talk to other people like at the workplace, which I think at this point I know more about that than Hutch does. That doesn't work. It doesn't fucking work. You have to build up a rapport with people over time. You have to show that you're trustworthy. You have to show that you're willing to fucking understand some of their positions and then try to explain to them why shit isn't there and it's not happening. So it is case by case basis, but I'm saying by and large, it's not Hutch, it's Pisco 100%.
Ogre.
All day, every day.
Ogre, do you think that the way that I am on stream, do you think that I'm like that in my like IRL life? Do you think
Yes.
You
yes.
have no
100%
fucking idea.
You can't prove it.
You haven't the first fucking clue how I operate. I actively avoid political conversations when I'm out in the world. I do it 8 hours a day. And so when I hang out with my friends and politics come up, I have a totally different tone. The idea that my personality when I'm streaming.
Actually, no.
Matches how I behave in my life. When it comes
to the people that you have the ability to connect with,
you got to let him go. Hold on, Ogre. You got to let Hutch. Ogre. You got to let Hutch.
I'm agreeing with him.
Okay, but you gotta let
I
him
was
finish.
going to agree because he said on
Jesus
stream
Christ,
numerous
shut
times-
up until Hutch finishes, please.
Okay.
Hutch,
Hold on.
go.
Okay.
No, I
Go for
said
it.
the idea that I am like this in my IRL life, like I'm a fucking functioning adult. I have a social life. I have friends. I have family. I am a normal person, and I behave like a normal person when I'm just out there. I'm not out there doing blood sports and talking about hyper niche things that normies have no fucking idea, like what I would be talking about in the first place. It's a totally different vibe.
Yeah,
Okay.
people have come
Last
to you
word,
and
Ogre,
asked
then we're
people,
cycling you. Go ahead.
people have come
Well, I
to
wanna
you
jump
and
on this
asked you in
actually,
the
like-
past, huh?
Dev.
I got something to say about this, but
Oh,
you go ahead, man.
say it then.
Okay, yeah.
Well,
So
hold on. I just
Yeah,
got
yeah, go-
told to fucking pause. I waited until he was done. You can-
Okay, say
Go ahead, go ahead.
respond,
So
then
you
Dev
have,
will
you
ask
have
you a
on
question.
numerous
Go ahead,
occasions when
Ogre,
people have come to you
respond,
for advice, turned around and basically said, "Don't bring up anything around people. Don't even try because it's not worth moving people. Just be
I didn't say
the Yes, you have. You totally fucking have. People have
I said in a
said, "Hey,
specific
what do I do
context.
about my family?" People have come to you and asked what to do about my family.
Yeah,
it's
that,
making
yes.
me miserable, et cetera, and you said, "Don't even bother. Don't try because you can't do anything. You can't change it." So yes,
the
I
most
agree.
part, for the
but
most
you
part,
want to
yeah.
withdraw while other people are trying to navigate something that makes their life frustrated and miserable, and you're just saying give in and give
In the
up to that sort
context-
of thought processes.
In the context of a political dispute with your family, my opinion about how to navigate that is informed by like intense grief. So when I lost a family member, I made a decision in that moment to not let politics get in the way of my relationship with my family. And so, and it was based on my own experience with arguing with certain family members for years. It never went anywhere. It was completely disrupting our relationship. And so in order to protect that relationship, because I love my family, I think it is better to just avoid conversations that are not likely to change their minds and just focus on enjoying your time with them. But I'm not saying like don't engage with the world or try to persuade normies when there's an avenue to do it.
Okay. Dev, you had something to
So-
say but we do got a line.
Yeah, I understand. I
so
understand.
be quick.
Yeah, so like I've been listening to you guys go back and forth, and I think what you're missing, Ogreboy, is that there are some people
Just
who are
Ogre's
better. Okay, Ogre, yeah. There are some people who are better at bringing in new people into a group. There are some people who are better at laying the ideological foundations for those who are already in the group. And then there are some people who are better at just being entertainers and they maintain group cohesion. All of these things are important for any political movement. And telling someone that they have to be one or the other is just counterproductive. Everyone's going to do what they're going to do.
Okay.
So sure, but that has nothing to do with anything that's been discussed so far.
It actually does, because you've been
it
saying
doesn't.
that Hutch has to be one thing. When
I
he's
didn't say
actually
Hutch
something
has to
else.
do anything.
Was that
I
not the
think
entire
it was
conversation
heavily
for the past 15
implied.
minutes?
Okay. Ogre Boy, thanks for calling in, buddy. I'll let you go. Okay.
Hey,
fine.
Hutch, 6 days.
I'll see you then, buddy.
6 days.
What's that all about?
The
Him
live and learn,
Him
right?
and Vadim are coming on Live and Learn. That should be fun.
Vadim. I had Vadim on my show with Soy Pill. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw a little bit.
But- I asked him a question, and I was very unsatisfied with the answer he gave me. I thought it was a pretty straightforward question, and I hope you ask him again. If Hassan, and this is a question I asked him, I said, if Hassan had simply endorsed Kamala and said you should go out and vote for Kamala directly, I asked him, do you think that more of Hassan's voter
Yeah, he
base?
snaked out of answering that. It was
Yeah,
ridiculous.
he just didn't answer, and
Yeah.
that frustrated me because obviously, yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah, it would be thousands,
it's
tens of thousands. Yes, obviously.
I don't know. I just, that's what I don't like. I don't like the snake stuff. Okay, but anyway, Stardust.
Vidim's kind of snaky. Yeah, he's been like that for a while.
Yeah, Stardust. Hi. What you got?
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, what you got?
Hey, Stardust.
So, hey, how's it going? So I guess, hey, how's it going? Hi, Ice Beans. I first off, I have to say, I think it's very suspicious that
Team Hutch or Team
Ice
Pisco?
Beans. Am I?
Team
First, I
Hutch
have
or
to say
Team
something.
Pisco?
I have to say something first, Wick. Okay,
Okay, say
I think it's
something
very
first.
suspicious that Ice Beans has ice in her name, and she was considering joining ICE. Okay, so I'm just saying, I think that's very, very suspicious.
Connect the dots.
Secondly, connect the dots, people. Secondly, what I will say is that I do think it's like a worthwhile effort to try and excise what I've been calling them the regressive left from being associated with the Democrats. I think that's completely
back in 2014.
That's Milo Yiannopoulos language.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Like
really?
Sargon used that shit back in 2014. I mean, they were correct, by the way. Ultimately,
yeah.
They used that language back in 2014.
Well, they use that for everybody, including the libs, don't they? But
yes.
Whether or not like they have like people like Hassan and BE and Noah Samson, whether or not they had an impact on voter turnout doesn't really matter to me, because we know that they have an influence on the discourse. We know that they have an influence on the phrases that get thrown around, the phrases that get repeated. So online politics are not nothing, right? Republicans and right-wingers will use the people like Hassan against us. And the regressive left makes demands while doing nothing to serve the Democrat Party. So I think we just need to stop them from even influencing the discourse, because they're ahistorical, they're idiots, they contribute really stupid ideas as well. And they engage in terrible tactics, doxing, harassment, all of that, right?
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question, and then I want to hear Hutch's opinion on your answer. Do you think that Pisco is doing something wrong when he has these people on his show, like the Vanguard Boys, like what's her face, Straighter Aid, all these people?
I would have to watch it. I'm going to be real with you. I have not watched him having these people on, to be honest with you. So I would have to watch and then give my opinion. I don't want to give my opinion yet.
Wait, real quick. Do you think that there's an issue with
no,
because that'd be really funny coming from the guy who had a Proud Boy on his
stream.
with
a caveat, right?
And
I'll give you
that was a fun stream, by the way.
I'm just
I
saying.
enjoyed being a part of that.
I think that you can have literally anyone on your show. If Satan himself came from the depths of hell, okay, and she wanted to be on my show, I would have her on my show.
I agree with you, Wick.
Yes. The question becomes, how do you have them? For what purpose? And how do you deal with them? I think one of the criticisms one of the criticisms I have with bringing certain people on in just agreeing with, like, obvious. Well, let me ask you this, Ice Beans.
Yeah.
If I had brought Enrique Otario on my stream and then agreed with him the whole time, you'd have a little more criticism for me than if I brought Enrique Otario on and had Destiny argue with him for the whole time. There'd be different things. They would be different.
They would be different things.
Yes.
But hold on a second. Like, you're saying that as if you didn't have like somebody on your stream that you pushed their fucking book, right? Was it fucking Hanania? Like,
no, it wasn't Richard Hanania. It was this other guy, and I remember what you're talking about. He was the organizer.
Was it the guy? No. Wait, was it the guy? Was it the guy
the
that
Charlottesville guy?
Came in? Yes, the Charlottesville.
The Unite the Right rally. I had it on.
Okay.
And he wanted me. He wanted me to put his book in my YouTube description. And I did. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because I didn't bring him on and agree with him the whole time. I, in fact, argued with him.
Okay, but you.
I do think I agree with Wick on
saying, it's very funny to then say like that you're comparing you're.
Yes, I don't think it's wrong. Like, do you think it's wrong for Barnes and Noble to have Mein Kampf in Barnes and Noble?
No, but hold on a second. No. Again, to be clear, I'm not making this a platforming debate. You can have whatever. I do not have a problem with that. I'm just saying that then it's funny that you will criticize like these lefties for doing that and not having sufficient to your,
because I think the lefties not only have Mein Kampf in their bookstore, but they're like, this is probably a good book that you should probably read.
No, wait, Ice Beans, that makes sense. That makes sense. If you are going to be pro-platforming, you should probably care a little bit about how it happens, right?
No. So to be clear, I'm not pro like scolding people for their platform. I'm giving, like, obviously I'm ragging on Wick a little bit with the Proud Boys guy, but I'm just saying he can't then hold that same standard.
No, I think he can.
Right?
I think he can. I think the way that I think you can be pro platforming, but be like, hey, we should have standards for how we platform people. I think that's perfectly fine. I personally don't have that.
That's fine,
you know.
but Stardust. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick. Like, I assume you watched that debate. Like, do you think that Destiny and I gave those guys enough pushback?
No, I'm gonna be honest and say that I did not watch. I only heard about. I only heard that he had the, and I asked him if.
But you didn't watch it?
No, I didn't because I didn't know it happened.
Ogreboy still thinks Pisco is principled only because Pisco didn't come out principally against Hassan and calls him out. The moment Pisco does it, the Hassan tattoo haver will vanish from Pisco's chat. Interesting.
Fine, and to be clear, yes, generally speaking, I don't have necessarily a problem with people.
Like, it was a fun time, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm curious. I'm curious as Hutch's position on this. I just want to hear, like, what do you think about the platforming stuff?
I don't have a problem with Pisco talking to Vanguard or Kyle Kalinske or anybody else. The issue that I had with Pisco wasn't even like a holistic kind of critique. It was more just there were a few moments in that conversation that I would have said, pause. Did you just say that Josh Shapiro covered up a murder? And then I would like really brutally like unpack that shit. But that's just, I don't think that but again, like that's how I operate. And I have no problem with him being even friendly with people. If there's like a tactical reason for it, if there's some kind of upside to doing that, if there's more room to persuade the person he's speaking with or that person's audience, then be a chameleon. That's like a part of political discourse, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think that like I personally don't hold a whole lot of standards as far as like the platforming thing. I'll make fun of people, obviously. I think everybody's open to criticism I'll make fun of people like Hassan, but like I think I think for the most part, like I'm not anti platforming certain people. I think everybody has the right to platform whoever they want.
But yeah, I felt like the question.
I felt like Wick was asking me a question about like, oh, do you think it's like effective to have people like that on? Which is like, I don't know if it's effective. Like, I'd have to look at it in that specific thing. So, and yes, I did previously get shit on for platforming people, and I don't really care. So
the criticism, just to be clear, the criticism isn't having the people on. The criticism is agreeing with the people.
Right, but that's what I'm trying to say. That this is the problem with having this kind of conversation is that like there's going to be a range of people who all of who disagree on whether you sufficiently push back on that type of thing, right? Like I mean, and like even earlier when we were talking about Hutch and Pisco, where Hutch was saying, yeah, I understand where Pisco was coming from and his tone, but I would have just personally pushed back harder, right? So.
I don't think anyone's requiring anyone to be perfect here. Like, you get better. You understand? Like, hold on, let me finish. Sometimes. Like, I don't think I'm not requiring anyone to be perfect here. Why would I? I make mistakes too, and sometimes you miss things. It's a live show usually, and things just get past you. And sometimes you lose a debate. But I think that can even be helpful. My issue, I guess, that I have in bringing it back to the Hutch and Pisco stuff, right? My issue is one of, I think that the tactic that Pisco is using is not working. And I think it is dangerous because I think he's letting in wolves in sheep's clothing. And I think that it's a problem. That's not to say that I'm not saying he should be stopped from doing this or deplatformed from doing this. I'm thinking that there are wolves in sheep's clothing, and we have to call it out for what it is.
Wick, do you believe that Pisco is being hypnotized by Straighter Aid's communist titties?
Oh my goodness.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Crazy
I don't
way
think
to
so.
No.
Jesus Christ.
I don't think so. I just say a couple more things.
One or two more things and we got to cycle out, but yeah.
Well, she didn't even really get to the
so people in the chat, well, first off, also I want to say fuck Ogreboy, okay? Secondly, because let's be real,
I don't know.
Ogreboy came into my chat and he was like, oh, you're I can't believe you went to Pisco with the cowhead thing and you're not really, all this stuff and he basically trying to justify it. And I'm just like, bro, like I'm usually not offended by anything. The one time I get not even offended, I'm disturbed by it. Like the one time I tell people I'm disturbed, like, oh, you don't believe me now? But okay, whatever. So anyways, I will say, I think covering somebody as big as Hassan will get new eyes on your content as well. I think it's you're just doing bad strategy if you're not covering Hassan, if you're not like calling him out. You'll expand your influence. I think it's just a smart thing to do as a content creator. And also, I don't know why we do this either or dichotomy. We should be calling out everybody, like MAGA and the fucking regressive left, right? So yeah,
he trains his audience. Dare I say, like a dog. Hassan. So like if you attack him,
give us an example.
Well,
okay?
he's got
we got our shot collars on. We got our
audience.
Just real quick. Icy, please. We got our shot collars on, right? Okay, we're Hassan's audience.
Yeah.
How would you train us? Give us an example, Hutch, please.
He
go.
feeds them sort of these canned deflections, and there's a number of them really. So like the first one is isn't it convenient that they're attacking pro-Palestinian content creators? Or you could also like substitute Muslim, like a Muslim content creator. He deflects to, he will call you a Zionist. He'll say that you support Israel and you're a Zionist, therefore you can ignore what they have to say. Destiny Orbiter is like another really big one. Oh, he's a Sexpestiny Orbiter. So there's like 5 or 6 that he deploys very regularly. And he is, I think, in those moments, like consciously training, literally training his audience. And then they go into my replies and they're like, he told his audience the other day that, or strongly suggested that I was paid by Progressive Victory to do Israeli propaganda. And he's said that in the past.
Wow.
He has said that in the past. This is a like fully insane thing to suggest. I think it's funny that PV is trying to angle to get like collaboration with him still. And he's over there telling his audience that they paid us to do Israeli propaganda.
Ooh.
So like,
I got some issues.
Like
with
he will.
Just hold on. Just as a personal thing, just real quick with the PV stuff. Can I just say, I'm very disappointed with how they've handled.
Oh yeah, I'm disappointed as well.
Everything.
But I was never paid by them or ever. I never worked with them.
I was.
Frogan herself, like Frogan herself has worked with them. Is she now working and doing like propaganda for Israel? Like what's going on there? You know,
I don't know. Is she actively working with them now? I know that they collaborated in the past.
No, she's not actively working with them now, but she has in the past before you guys were associated with them. You know.
Yeah.
Real quick, as a complete aside, Hutch, do you? Okay, I take your. I understand the point that you're making about Hassan training his audience, but
anything but substantively engaging in what they won't like unpack the argument. They'll just say, oh, you can dismiss them because, and then there's like 5 different things they go to.
Right, but you also do understand that like you yourself also have like a like you have an influence on your audience, and to some degree you are training your audience, right?
I do not ever
you don't accept that
use these kinds of lazy deflections. If I have a problem with something that somebody says, I will unpack that thing and explain why I think it's bad.
I'm talking about influence. I'm talking about like the natural.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm asking him to does he acknowledge that happens?
Content creators generally have influence. Yeah, of course.
Right. So, and that you're not like necessarily of like inadvertently even training, like instinctively, like training these like knee-jerk reactions.
No. I like. First of all,
there are ways you can avoid it. There are definitely ways you can avoid it.
I don't do brigade. I don't. You can ask my community. I don't do brigading. I don't like brigading.
No, hold on. I'm not talking about brigading. I'm
I'm just talking about.
Okay, give us an example. Hold on, Ice Beans. Give us an example of how Hutch is trained, like a deflection that Hutch trains his audience.
No, I'm not. I'm asking him if he because this is something that every content creator will do. Every content creator, if you have an audience, you will inadvertently teach these things.
No. Like, you misunderstand me though. No. Hang on. Pause. He consciously throws these deflections out to his stream.
Right.
So that they will go. So that they will go. So that they will go into other people's mentions and then use those deflections. That's what he's doing it consciously. He lies.
I understand.
He lies through his teeth. He does not give a fuck. He will make shit up about you. He will accuse you of being a paid Israeli propagandist. He does not care. And he knows when he does that. He knows when he does that. He is that his audience.
Ice Bean, I get what you're saying. And the answer to what you're saying basically is creators always do train their audiences to some extent. The only thing you can really do is train them to think well. Like train them not to be lazy thinkers. And I think anyone responsible does that.
Well, no. So that's all. That's all I would say. That okay, I don't know Ogreboy that well, right? But that's kind of I think that is functionally the difference between what I would say my position is and Hutch's is, right? Is that I try not to reflexively let idiots and also like to a certain degree malicious actors like Hassan to affect how I interact with leftists.
Well,
That's,
do
I
you
think,
let me ask you this then.
right?
Do you think that Hutch is training his audience to be lazy thinkers and just like knee-jerk react to like far lefties?
I would say if you don't find any leftists if you don't find leftists in his audience.
Oh, there are definitely leftists in my audience. Just to be clear, we disagree a lot. I get stunned like 50% of the stream talking to lefties in the chat.
Look,
I'm glad you have
this means there's leftists in my audience too. I got one of them accusing me of women, right, or implying that I do right now in my stream.
I'm not talking about hate watch. To be fair, I'm not talking about hate watchers. Okay,
why don't they count? They're in the stream.
No,
they're making
They're
comments.
essentially fans.
Are you taking from them? Are you going back and forth with them like in a good faith
In
manner?
chat, am I doing it in good faith?
No. Right, that's what I'm saying. Is that those are hate watchers. Wait, Wick, those are hate watchers. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about people who genuinely come in and like push back on you, and you sometimes do actually listen to them because you do like.
Yeah, everybody has those. I feel no.
Well, that's why I'm asking. Is that like how much of those people do you think exist in Hutch's chat? I'm genuinely curious.
It's probably most of my mods would fit that category. I would assume.
Yeah, I do have yeah. I guess I had one last thing to say.
Go ahead.
Yes. When Hassan also does platform people who do engage in some pretty nasty tactics, specifically Bad Empanada. Okay, and I know he hasn't platformed him in a while. But not even platforming is the issue, right? Promoting, right? He'll shout out this dude's videos. He'll, say that he's good on certain topics, right? And he'll encourage his chatters to go, consume this guy's content. I'm sorry, when you are promoting somebody like that who engages in doxing, harassment, has added actual terrorist organizations on Twitter to with people's docs to try and get something to happen to them, somebody who gloats when horrible things happen to people, or really escalatory harassment happens to people, I'm sorry, you are allowing that. You are telling your audience that is acceptable behavior. Even if you yourself are not telling them to do that, you're saying this person's content is good, what this person does is good. You are basically telling your audience that is acceptable. So I do think that Hassan needs to be called the fuck out all the time.
Okay. Stardust?
Driznar, thank you so much for the gift.
No, wait, don't Stardust yet. No. Real quick. Okay, Stardust, I want you to debate Lumi. All right?
Okay,
I want it to be set up.
You can hash that out.
I don't have a problem with it, but she doesn't want to. So.
Okay. I'll see you later.
Wick, you and I'll convince her, okay?
Yeah, we will. Dev, I'm going to let you go so I can get more people in. Is that cool?
Good talking to you,
sounds
Dev.
good. Thanks for having me on. See you guys later.
See ya.
I don't know if you're cool with me like crashing this way.
No, you're fine, man. Anytime. It's a call-in show.
Okay. All right.
So
whoever's argument. It's your position.
Being the only white person in the call. Okay.
It's also your position. What do you mean? Why would you be the issue?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to crash it. Like this was supposed to be like Wick versus the world, and I didn't want to fucking.
It's Hutch. Like this is the. I guess you might even argue this is an impromptu Hutch versus the world, but
fire.
It's no. You're always welcome to my content, man. If it's not a strict panel where I've already invited guests, and it's just whoever, yeah, you're always welcome to come on. It's all good.
Thanks.
Okay, what you got? We got Stormwolf. We got Vishy. What do we have? What do you got?
If Vishy's Team Pisco, he can go first. If not, I'm happy. It's up to him. I don't care.
Hey, Vishy, go ahead.
You can go first, Storm. I am not Team Pisco.
I'm Team Hutch as well. So I guess we're just here to fight with Ice Beans.
Cool.
But here's what I'll say. I feel like a lot of people said the things already. I think the big issue that I have with like the far left, and I think this is a disagreement I have with like Pisco especially, is like this notion we should cater to them or like we should work with them is insane. And when people are like Hutch's dogpiling on the left, they fight with us first. We aren't like, we've always shown a willingness to work with the left. And what do they give us? Nothing. People always do this with the 2024 election. They've done this rewriting of history, which I think is really important. A lot of the demands for Harris were originally called for a ceasefire. She did that at the DNC, and then it changed to, well, it needs to be an arms embargo. This is what I mean. They don't want to work with us. They're looking for every excuse not to work with us. And I know you say like, well, they don't have that much influence. Well, when you create a media apparatus, which is going, first of all, they do have influence. And when you have that apparatus, which is promoting this apathy towards the Democratic Party, which sees them as feckless and unable to do anything and sees them as not a real opposition party, sees them as basically the same as the Republicans, it ends up bleeding into larger segments of the population, which is why our polling numbers are so low, even within our own base. Our polling numbers aren't low because the rest of the country hates us. It's because our own base doesn't want to support us. We can't foster a community of illiberals who are actively working against our goals and say, well, we agree on some things. We're better off getting independent, because when we appeal to progressives, they don't vote for us, and then we lose independence.
I want to piggyback off that real quick. I want to piggyback off that real quick because there's.
I feel like you've gone through a lot.
Go Hutch. I want to hear from Hutch, and we'll go Ice Beans. I promise. You'll get.
Well, I just want to add like a brief little. I mean, first of all, based, but second of all, I want to build off what you said. Everything they do is not about let's help to defeat Republicans. Everything they do is in service of a narrative, and the narrative is they are the salt of the earth people who speak for the working man, and they would do so much good in the world if only the establishment and the donors and the oligarchs would take their boots off of their necks. So it's all about grievance. And you talked about like the uncommitted situation a little bit there. The convention is like the perfect example of this. They advertised a 1968 style convention, which is to say that they were advertising chaos. Anybody who knows anything about the 1968 DNC, it was fucking chaos. And that's what they were advertising. And what ended up happening was like 200 people showed up. They were advertising like 20,000. 200 people showed up. And then what did they do? They tried to demand a speaking slot at the DNC, which is a coronation ceremony for the candidate, not a platform for everyone with a cause to get up there and speak about their cause. The whole purpose of the convention is to get people hyped up to vote for Kamala Harris. They demanded a speaking slot. The Kamala campaign smartly said, get fucked. And then they turned around and said, wow, they care so little about Palestinians that they wouldn't even allow them to have a voice. So it's all in service of this narrative. Like we would do so much for you if only the fucking establishment would get their boots off of our neck, and it's bullshit. Anyways, yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, but I'm not sure if you I'm not sure if that's directed at who I'm talking about. I do think that those people who are completely and utterly unwilling to work with Democrats, I think that they should be made fun of. I'm simply talking about the people who we can appeal to, who have a tiny bit of understanding about how the system works and how you're supposed to coalition, and appeal to those people.
No, but,
if that's not what you might not know, and I'm not saying that they're not a threat. I'm just saying that personally, I would not want to. I would personally take a different approach with them.
This is why I wanted. But this is why.
Can we grab this like an example? Wait, Hutch, can we grab this an example? Well, the disagreement between Hutch and Pisco, we can use one of the figures they talked about was Kyle Kalinske. Why don't we talk about that? Do you think Kyle is someone we should work with?
No, I don't think Kyle himself is who we should work with. But that doesn't mean that you need to alienate Kyle viewers. That's my point. That's my only point.
But I think the conversation's always about the people in the media, less so the voters, like how people in the media and like how people are rallying behind it. But I think that's generally, Hutch could correct me. I feel like that's generally what we're talking about here. Hutch could correct me if I'm wrong.
But that might be okay. To be clear, that might be the conversation that Pisco and Hutch are specifically disagreeing on. Like, they're not focused on the viewers at all. They're only focused on the personalities. If you're contending with me, at least, I'm not so much focused on those people, because I'm much more interested in the viewers. I said this I did say this from the outset. I'm more of the IRI approach, right? He speaks to the fucking common clay every fucking day. I don't know how he does it, But that's what he does. I'm way more towards those people, because those people I recognize. Not a lot of people outside, like when I go and talk to about politics, about people in the world, not a lot of them actually know about Hassan, right? And I understand
Sure,
that
but I'm
that's
sure they
very
know about like.
anecdotal.
Wait, no,
I know
I
that's
understand,
very
but they might know
anecdotal,
about.
right?
First of all, I think that's a bad thing to use when Hassan has literally been in the New York Times recently. He's been in all these mainstream outlets, first of all. But second of all, even if they don't know
Yeah,
about
right,
Hassan, they are probably interacting with people. I think the big thing is also who is going to be the voters that are going to be the most like hearing Hassan. It's going to be young voters, and that's a base that we've been seeing flaws with.
right.
Why do you think we're seeing flaws with it? Do you think it's because we have a media apparatus that doesn't support our party? That's an issue.
Hold on. Do you think But do you think that the solution is to just like let those people get funneled into the pipeline?
No.
Or would you,
I don't think
wouldn't
anyone's
you
saying.
rather
Wait.
capture-
I don't think anyone's saying that though. I think people are saying we just shouldn't like. We should make it clear
No,
that
when
people
you
like
talk
Hassan, people
about
like Kyle
cutting
aren't
out-
members of our party. We should make it
When
clear
you
they don't
talk
support.
about
I want to go
out-
further than that, just real quick. I want to go further than that. Like, electorally, people like Kyle Kalinske, Vanguard Boys, Hassan, etc., are my enemy.
Wait,
Okay.
did Hassan endorse Harris? Did Hassan endorse Harris?
No.
No, he didn't.
Did Hassan tell his voters who to vote for, or did he go, I don't want to influence your vote while he's signing his ballot on stream? What kind of political streamer doesn't want to influence a vote? What are we doing here? And why did Kyle influence?
Wait, hold on a second. We all hate Hassan. Move on.
Yeah, but my point is, you keep saying, well, we don't want to alienate the voters. Sure, but we also can't accept
I didn't say alienate. I'm not saying don't alienate the people who are completely bought into that shit. If you want to do that, go ahead. I'm talking about the people. I know. You're not listening.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Okay, go ahead, Vishy. Vishy,
I feel like
Vishy,
said
here you are. What do you think, Vishy?
Okay, so I think I think you can actually talk with Kyle and he's fine. I think you have to call him out. I think you can call him out when he does that bullshit with the fucking Jill Stein shit. So there's a thing where people talk about with Vanguard. I think they're the best example for this. We voted blue, but 99% of the time they're shitting on Dems and then they vote blue. You need to call him out on that, which I think maybe we can talk about the Pisco thing later. He doesn't push back enough on things that he could, and then he gets mad when people call him out on it. So with this, what Vanguard does is they shit on Dems every time and like, oh, we voted blue. We're absolved of anything. It doesn't matter if you actually voted blue. You use your platform to like promote apathy. That what they do is they are net negative.
Real quick, I hate to interrupt you, but $100, and I will interrupt for $100. $100 from Zonia TV to ask Hutch a question. Hutch, what are your thoughts on coalition building across the broader left? Not necessarily catering to the extreme demands, but finding common enough ground to build more support and gain more voters and inspire greater turnout at the polls.
I mean, in principle, I think that this would be a good thing. Like I'm of the mind that if we had a parliamentary system and they had their own party, that would solve a lot of the tension. I feel like they feel very resentful to be a part of the Democratic Party because they just don't have they don't have as much power as like the moderate wing. But there's nothing wrong with that on paper, but I hate to break it to you, the Democratic Party has been doing this for the entire 21st century. Okay. Like the Democratic Party has moved left on basically every issue, sometimes significantly so in the 21st century. And if you listen to Kyle Kalinske and Hassan, they're telling their audience that the party has moved right, which is the most ahistorical, ridiculous nonsense I've ever heard in my life. Just crack open a book, look at the Democratic Party of the 80s and 90s. There's no question the party is. So look at Biden's presidency. He made so many overtures to the left. He literally brought Bernie and Warren and their teams into the room and they were crafting the ARP. That was a significantly progressive bill.
The Inflation Reduction Act, the insulin prices, we can talk about marching with union and increasing the federal minimum wage. He did so much, and progressives spat in his face and looked for lefties spat in his face and looked for every reason not to vote for him. Yep. And then Harris as well.
Yes, that's what happened.
Biden
was by far the most progressive president of my entire life by far, and they think that he was
president we've had since like LBJ.
Biden's my boy. Okay, I have no problem with Biden.
He's your boy.
Yeah, he's my boy. He's my boy.
Yeah,
you guys hang out.
Well, I'm not home right now, but I have a cutout of him in my background, and he's wearing a cute little hat, just like Soy Pills. Anyways, so like, look, okay, I absolutely, I think personally, if I'm gonna be real, okay, I think a lot of people who watch Hassan, who actually like, or people like him, we don't have to focus on Hassan, who are like dogmatic about this, I think that they don't have an understanding of like, I don't think they have an understanding of politics. They don't understand what you have to do to actually go somewhere.
But that's why I do what I do, though. Don't you understand?
No.
To be clear, it comes from Hassan because Hassan doesn't try to give a good understanding of politics.
It's fucking edutainment. I know. I come from a place where I was edutained. I understand that, right? I'm just saying that there are ways to appeal to those people so that they are more informed. So that actually, when you talk to them, they actually are a little bit more lib than you thought.
No, but you're doing the Ogreboy thing. You're doing the Ogreboy thing. Yes, you are.
Go ahead, Hutch. I want to know how she's doing the Ogreboy thing. I'm really curious what you're talking about.
You're implying that there's one universally better way to do things. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying.
Yes, you are. Yes,
100%.
That's what you're saying.
I said if that's what you want to do with your time.
No, but you're implying that there's like a better way to do it, and I'm saying there's all kinds of different ways to get through to people.
I literally said, I'm sorry. I literally said, hold on a second. I literally said earlier that I know people who are better at talking at conservatives or people who are better at arguing with liberals.
Okay, so what are we disagreeing about? What are we disagreeing about?
I don't know. Storm's the one who came in.
You tell me. You're arguing against whatever, right?
I have a question for Ice Beans. Ice Beans, what do you think? What do you think the strategy should be that we disagree with? Like, what is your vision of what you mean by like? Well, we need to like get these the people who follow them. Like, what is the strategy that you're? Yeah,
to put that a slightly different way, what would you have Hutch do differently than he's doing now?
Hutch can no. To be clear, I think Hutch is good at what he's doing. If he enjoys it, that's what he wants his content to be. I have zero issues with Hutch taking the positions he does, right? All I'm saying is that if you then don't have that many lefties who genuinely show up in your spaces, the only people that come here are the people who are kind of forged through like several fires, and that's what you want in your audience, that's okay, right? I'm just saying that I would personally go and look at why there are people, like find the people who are actually interested in learning about politics, about how the system fucking works. I'm there. That's all. I'm one step below you.
Okay, but when you say I would do this instead, I think most people take that to mean that there's a better way to do what you're doing.
No.
All right.
I think this is a little bit unfair. Ice Beans. Because when we're talking about this conversation, it's about how we should engage with voters. To say, well, it's okay for him to do that. I know, but I'm saying obviously this question here is about what's the best way to do it.
The question was put to me. Who team am I? Pisco or Hutches? And I said I'm going to be the soy cuck and say neither. That was literally the first thing when I came in.
I think it depends.
I'm going to establish a bit more of a concrete position here of what I think we should be doing. What I think we should be doing is what Hutch does do. Call out the bullshit and show, here's what we do, here's how Dems are good, here's how we should be voting for Dems. I don't think Hutch is isolating voters because I never see Hutch isolating their fans. I never see Hutch attacking the fans. It's always the rhetoric of Hassan. It's always the rhetoric of Kyle Klinsky.
He disagrees with that.
You're looking at his audience.
I used to be a leftist. People
so did I.
Okay. You're all talking over each other.
Let Vishy talk.
From 10. I love the energy. We gotta take it from 10 to like a 7.
Ice Beams is saying is depends on what you're going for. And I think she's basically saying that Pisco has his role in what he does, and then Hutch has his role in what he does. For me, I think Pisco could be doing better at the role that he's doing right now. And I think there's a way where you can talk with people like Straight Raid, you can talk with the Vanguard, you can talk with even Kyle, like he does when he goes on to fucking whatever it was, Saga, that dipshit, and whatever that's
Breaking Point
show, right? Yeah, that. But what he does is I think he wants to go into a new audience, so he may allow some shit that should not be allowed to go through because he's trying to reach out to more people. Like when let's go back to whatever this. There's a substance dude on YouTube who's basically just like anti Hutch, anti fucking Destiny, whatever. And this whole like pig scale thing was they're debating like or the cowhead. They were debating fucking Stardust was online debating some fucking people on Destiny, and then the substance person sent her a picture of a severed cowhead because she's brown. Right? Simple enough. She's not even Hindu, but she did it, right? These are people I think are in. I'm not going to say this is Pisco like endorsing it, but I don't think he does a good job about pushing back on it. Because I remember there's a time where he was like debating Hutch, and then he had to turn off his YouTube chat because it was so bad. I think he does a thing where he allows the shit to happen and doesn't push back.
To be
and that
clear,
promotes it.
okay, let me ask you, Vishy.
Yeah,
How you say
what's
your
up?
name, Vishy?
Yeah, Vishy, what's up?
What would you have him do? Just kick those people out, ban them? What are you asking for?
Yes, if they are just bad people, kick them out. If they can be changed,
So
or
if they
change their
criticize
attitude-
Hutch too much,
no,
Pisco
I mean
should
if you're
kick them
gonna
out.
say like if you like the amount of people in Pisco's YouTube chat that are all they do is just shit on like Hutch or people like that, calling them like basically fascists, or the motherfucker in Lib and Learn yesterday. That was just like, I think everyone knows what I'm talking about. I'm sorry, I know he's not part of Pisco's community, but Pisco's community harbors it because he doesn't do a good job moderating it. And I love him.
Well, if Pisco
but
wants
this
to
is-
come in and defend himself,
feel
then
like-
I'll
he
I
can
let
feel
him.
like
defend it.
this
But
is-
my point, no, but my
I
point
don't
is
know, man.
with the
This is
Vanguard.
moving away from
Okay,
the
my point
fucking
is when Vanguard says Josh Shapiro is cover up a murder, and Pisco's just like, I'm just going to try to talk with them a little bit more and not push back on it. That's bad because now it's saying, oh, hey guys, it's okay to say this because we voted blue at the end. It's like, no, shut down that fucking evil shit. Shut down this. I'm not going to vote for Josh Shapiro because he does murder, or Newsom because he does this one thing. When it's like, are you going to vote for them in the are you going to vote for them in the general? Are you going to be outspoken for them in the general? It's not simple enough to say, oh, we voted for them and then shit on them every time. You have to push back on this evil shit that they're saying, while also saying, hey, we can work to make sure MAGA loses, but we're not going to allow you to say dumb shit all the time like you've been doing. I think there's a nuance, there's a happy medium, and Pisco's doing a good job kind of reaching out to them, but could do a better job like shutting shit down when it should be shut, when it should be shut down.
Okay.
If I could just get like one more thing, I will say
One more thing, then we're gonna cycle you guys out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It doesn't just sometimes feel like Pisco's trying to talk to them. Pisco is just trying to talk to them and show like their viewers and then why like they're wrong with certain things they're pushing and why they're creating a worse atmosphere for like that promotes Republicans. That'd be fine. Sometimes it feels like Pisco's trying to appeal to them and bring them into or like trying to like cater to some of their demands that they shouldn't be. Like sometimes it feels like he's I guess it's kind of what you said. I just have a different view on it. Like he's kind of overextending himself and almost embracing illiberals without promoting liberalism, which is the issue. I think that's fundamentally what our fight online right now is. It's liberals versus illiberals.
There's a comment made for $10 that I think it's interesting, right? And I'll get to all the super chats eventually, but we'll get there at the end. Bryce Willis says for $10, Pisco is Boromir in the Fellowship of the Ring. He thinks we can use the ring or the left to defeat the darkness. He doesn't yet realize it's slowly corrupting him.
This is the cringest shit ever.
Okay. Is it? I mean, look, Hassan. This is Hassan's stated position.
It is not.
That is,
it is not.
See, he says, this is what I do. I go into these places, I pose as one of them, and I siphon them off to a different
If that is how you see the left, then have fun, guys. I'm okay with it. Y'all can do what you want on your own time.
Wait,
I won't be hanging out in your face.
members of the left.
Wait, before that,
even after all of the the negotiating I've had to say, like, to distance myself from the lefties, and still it's like, oh, leftism will corrupt you. It literally turning you into Gollum. Come on. Get out of here. I'm a lib as much as I'm a lib as I'm a fucking lib. And
then you're not a leftist. You're a liberal.
Everyone should watch that clip of Hassan.
Good job, buddy.
Everyone should watch that clip of Hassan on the podcast. It's a stated goal. He admits.
Yes,
Yeah, he does.
That's true. Yes.
Cool. Yeah, it's a stated goal. Great.
Like, hold on. It's like people.
Tell me
This is
something I
the
already
problem. Hold on.
know.
Ice beans, please. Ice beans. It's like the people when Trump says, I'm going to come in and I'm going to do X,
DT,
Y, and Z. And then
thank you so
all the
much.
MAGA people
Nice
are like,
dumping
well,
on
he doesn't
Pisco
actually
without
mean
Pisco.
it.
So very
Yes,
Joe
he does.
Rogan of you.
Yes, he absolutely does.
Am I dumping on
Hassan
Pisco?
says this.
Hello?
He absolutely means it. He absolutely believes it. This is absolutely what he's doing. Why would you? I don't understand.
Brother, I'm not saying that he's ineffectual. I'm not. I've never said that. I've acknowledged that he has a tanky fucking pipeline that I don't want to be part of. No, I would not call myself a Hassanite. No. I just think that there's some value in like trying to draw away some of those people so that they don't circle the fucking drain. That's all.
But I think I'm doing that for the record. I mean, that's
fine.
like the whole point of what I'm doing.
That's fine. I'm not. Yeah, that's fine. I've not said that you're not doing that, right? Like I just happen to personally disagree on where we would draw the line on like who to then start just making fun of, right?
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, we got some new people in. I want to hear what their stance is. S, I don't know how to say the rest of your name because are you Team Pisco or are you Team Hutch? What are you?
Yeah. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah. Are you Team Hutch or Team Pisco?
Team Pisco.
Okay. Why?
So I just want to level set real quick. I don't want to get bogged down in conversation about what Hutch can do on his stream and what he can't do on his stream. I personally don't give two shits. But I'm Team Pisco mostly because it's a matter of just broad tactics, where we should be spending most of our time, not in terms of content creation, just in terms of where our thoughts should be. Hutch spends a lot of his time thinking about how can I shit on the left today? Like, how can I try to excise Hassan or Mike from PA and all these other people instead of actually sitting down and combating the fact of like, okay, this is where we are in this moment in politics. This is where Republicans are. This is where MAGA is. This is where Dems are. Where do we go from here? What do Dems need to improve on? What do they need to do? What are they not doing? What are they doing that they need to do more of? Are they building something that I think they should build? Are they destroying something I think that they should destroy? I don't really see that from Hutch. I'll put it in, just to limit my talking time, I'll put it in this type of perspective. With Hutch, it feels like when you see a leftist on a panel and we're talking about something in general, like we're talking about ICE or we're talking about like the state of policing, and then somebody brings in Israel and Palestine, you know how you roll your eyes and you get annoyed at that? That's what Hutch does, but it's just with the left. Like, we'll be talking about something like, what should Democrats do? Or where are we at with Chuck Schumer or whatever? And then somehow Hutch figures out a way to pigeonhole the left in there. Oh, well, did you see what Hassan said? Or did you see what this crackheaded leftist on Twitter said? Oh, well, now the conversation's about that instead of what we should be doing, which is trying to figure out like, okay, how do we make the Democratic Party better? How do we get them to win?
How do you answer that accusation, Hutch?
I think anybody that's familiar with my content that regularly tunes in the streams knows what I'm all about. Like, knows what I've been all about for the last 10 years, which is we need to beat Republicans in elections. That's been the focus for 10 years consistently. And the idea that I don't dive into what I think the Democratic Party could do better in order to attract more voters and build a larger coalition is pretty ridiculous. We cover that a lot on Live and Learn. I talk about it a lot on my stream. So I don't know if you're getting your impressions of me just from my Twitter feed or a curated YouTube section, but and the idea that I wake up in the morning and I think the first thing I wake up and I'm like, how can I shit on leftists? Do you seriously think that that's what I'm doing, or do you think I'm observing?
Be cooler if you did.
Or do you think I'm observing behavior and actions and rhetoric that I find to be really destructive, and then I react to that and criticize it?
I won't go as far as say that I think that you're actually like focusing on it, like you actually waking up. That's just a turn of phrase, but I do think that you spend an abhorrent amount of time on it. Yeah, I do. Twitter's one thing. Fighting with you doing it on Twitter is even more egregious to me because it's just like, why are you arguing with people on Twitter? What are we?
So, for example, like Twitter?
Stop real quick.
I'm assuming you do it because it's fun.
Right.
Let him finish and then Hutch can respond. Yeah.
If you're doing this because it's content, or if you're doing it because it's fun, then say that. Don't say that it's bringing some material benefit to Democrats getting elected or not, because it's not. You're fighting with people who barely have 100, 200, 300 followers, who barely get 1 or 2 likes, and they're probably liking their own fucking comment at that. So what are you actually doing when you're fighting with those Twitter leftists? Nothing. You're not doing anything there. You're wasting your time. When you're talking about Hassan for the 14th bajillion time on your show on YouTube,
can I ask you a question?
From that other than content, you're gaining content, and be honest about it.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question on that? Let's talk about Charlie Kirk for a minute. When he brought on no-name college students to dunk on them, did that work out for the right? Did that help the right?
Do I think that helped the right? Yes.
Did they?
But Charlie Kirk is not. Hutch is not going to college campuses. Correct.
Hold on, but these people were no names. They were the proverbial 300 follower Twitter guy who probably likes his own comments. And yet, even though they had no influence, no power, they weren't representing the left as a whole, Charlie Kirk was able to leverage dunking on them into huge electoral gains for the right. So why would it not work in the other direction?
Do you think that Hutch? Do you believe that you're operating like Charlie Kirk in that semblance? That you think that you dunking on leftists in the way that you're dunking on them right now
not nearly
is leading to the same level of value to what Charlie Kirk was bringing to the Republican Party?
Of course. Why would I ever claim that? He had the backing of like billionaire seed funding. He was like, I'm literally a guy in my office. So I never compared myself to Charlie Kirk.
But the reason I'm asking the question is because the principle is the same it scales. It does. Even if you're only doing it to a little degree, you're getting a little benefit, but it scales, right? It's obviously
it's not a scale. It's not a scale because
it's only effective if you have billions and billions of dollars funding you or millions and millions of dollars funding you.
I mean, it's more effective. I mean, if you're spending a lot of money on something.
Yeah, megaphone is just bigger, right?
Wait, I can't.
Exactly.
I want to know how to address.
I'm not necessarily agreeing with the overall point. I'm just saying that like the megaphone is bigger if you have a lot of money.
I can't see their names, so I don't know how to address them. What is the? Because I have stream remote. The person that I'm speaking with.
Stars.
You can call me Loki. It's fine.
Loki. Okay, Loki.
Okay.
Yep.
I find it telling that you're complaining not about what I'm actually saying when I engage with leftists, which to be clear, I'm doing that a lot less these days. I've kind of relapsed in the last couple days, but you're not even bringing into the conversation what I'm taking issue with their posts. You're just saying, don't like dunk on them. Like, do you know why I was engaging with the people I was engaging with today? Do you know who they were? Do you know what they were saying?
I don't care because they're randos on Twitter.
I'm a rando on Twitch. Why are you talking to me? Isn't that a waste of time? You could be using your time fighting fascists, right?
And I signed up to do so because I watch Live and Learn. And my issue with this is that it's not just you shitting on the left. It's just that it's this complete focus on we have to excise the left from the party, which there's no plan of action to actually do that. Nobody's ever answered that question.
I never said the left.
Yeah. We need to excise these. How are you excising Hassan from the party?
I'm not. I don't have the power to excise Hassan. Are you crazy?
Then why are we using language like that? Like, Wick, am I being crazy?
I say that
would be nice if we could. I wish I had the power to do that, but I don't.
Hutch and me are not. We may look similar because we both have bald heads, right? But we're not the same person.
I mean, I would love to do that if we could, but I don't think that's possible.
But wait, so right, okay, so you would want to try, right?
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
well,
I think.
I'll tell you guys again. If Gavin Newsom went on Hassan's podcast and they had a talk, and Gavin Newsom turned to Hassan and said, "Look, I just wanted to come on here to make it clear to everyone listening that we want nothing to do with you. You're a cancer. Just go away. Fuck off."
Wait, hold on.
We would get 400 electoral votes.
Oh wait, hold on. Look, I can't get past this. Loki, you said that it doesn't matter what my critique of these people is.
I don't care about your interactions with these individuals because they're on.
Don't you think that's odd? Like, you have no concern with what I'm actually saying. It's just the fact that I'm arguing with lefties. Why? Who devised the rules that moderate Democrats or whatever are not allowed to punch left? Who came up with this ridiculous fucking rule?
Where did you hear me say that you can't punch left?
The whole time you've been talking, you just told me that you don't even know what I'm saying. It's the fact that I'm engaging with them that bothers you.
I do know what you're saying. I do know what you're saying. If I'm not mistaken, one of the tweets was you were arguing with what it seemed like to be was a young woman, and you were arguing with her about like Kamala Harris regarding like where Kamala Harris is and whether or not she actually supported like Palestinian like rights and things like that. It's irrelevant to me because you're arguing with somebody who has like
what
one
what
like to the
about?
fucking post.
When did I do this? What are you talking about?
Was this not the last couple of days?
Palestinian rights and Kamala?
Send
What
it
the
to
fuck
me
are you
and we
talking
can
about?
show it on stream. I'll show it on stream if you have it. If you DM it to me, I'll show it on stream. Absolutely.
And we can still talk while I'm looking this up.
I mean, I can just spoil it. The people that I was engaging with on Twitter in the last couple of days, I relapsed a little bit. I had like 5 or 6 quote retweets. These were people that were proud anti-Democratic Party like leftists. So they are definitionally, just in practice, my opposition. And I treat them like opposition, and you're salty about that? They are the opposition. What, am I supposed to be nice to them?
Yes.
I don't care if you're nice to someone. I don't care. I think there's a hyper focus on trying to excise people from the left, or trying to excise the left from the Democratic Party. Wick does this, Destiny does this, DGG does this, and you do this. If you want to say, oh, I've never said I don't want to excise the left from the Democratic Party, I guess you can say that you've never said that explicitly, but I think that's like a goal. Like
You're
I feel
being
like
too
that's
broad.
most people are
No.
drawing that.
The left.
You don't think that people are drawing that conclusion from how you talk about the left?
I'm not responsible for if people want to draw incorrect conclusions from what I'm saying. If there's a leftist and they're on the same page about blocking Republicans from power and that being the highest priority, I don't care about your ideology. I don't give a fuck. If you have an academic interest in Marxism or like whatever, if you think socialism is the play, I'm not going to fight you on those things. As long as we're on the same page about the ultimate goal, pull up a chair. You're invited to the fucking barbecue, bro. But if you're not on the same page and you think that helping Donald Trump win elections is the morally or tactically correct thing to do, then you are political opposition. I don't understand why I would not treat you like opposition.
So Hutch, I don't know if I agree completely with like what Loki is saying, but I'll say it I'll just explain this from the point of view of as like, back when I was a Demon Mama fan, right? Like as a Demon Mama fan, very politically like aligned in opposition to Destiny, because what was he doing at the time? Shitting on leftists, right? So at the time, Destiny was absolutely spitting, right? There were lots of things that Destiny didn't want to listen to any of them, just on principle, right? And I agree that a lot of it is very like, it's very tribe based. It's very like he's attacking, like, they're just attacking the leftists online with like, with no big followers and stuff like that. And that wasn't the tactics that got me around to even listening to Destiny, right? It's when he started, at least to my perception, backing off a bit, things shifted. I was already moving in a different direction, like anyway. And then the fucking school shit happened and everything. And then that's when I started being like, okay, let's look at these things. Let's look at some of the unhinged shit that lefties say. Is there real like value to be derived from this?
I'm glad that worked for you.
Right.
I'm glad that worked for you. Okay.
No. Hold on a second. No, I understand that's not. I'm just saying that like that's the approach that I think Loki's coming from.
If you're looking for that approach, there's a lot of people that you can tune into for that kind of approach. That's not what I do.
No, I'm
a
know
bit
you're
more
not
direct, but again, like I want to push back a little bit here because I do frequently have conversations with people with radically different politics than mine that are totally cordial and civil. The second you start throwing out crazy accusations like David Pakman gets paid to celebrate genocide or Josh Shapiro covered up a murder, I'm going to want to pause on that and be like, that's fucking insane. Where did you get that? Stop saying this stupid shit. You are hurting America with this stuff. That's what I do. But if somebody is cordial with me, I'm not going to like fight someone on you know, labor theory of value or whatever. I don't care about that.
You don't think that's dangerous though?
Well, what specifically?
So do you not think it's dangerous to like approach people that like dramatically or that aggressively?
I find the question to be confusing because I don't understand why your mind doesn't go to, is it destructive to accuse a potential 2028 Democratic Party hopeful of covering up murder? Like, what do you think is the bigger issue here?
Right. I think that it is an issue that they're saying that, but do you really want to look someone in the face and say like, you're ruining America, like you're the problem?
I'm putting a little pepper on it in this conversation, but it's, you know, I would be more strongly worded in my whatever I chose to say.
Don't back off that. Hold on. Don't back off that, Hutch. You should, you know, stand all 10 tones on this. Yes, some people need to be told that they are a danger to the party, that they are being destructive to the party, and you can't sugarcoat your words. You just got to tell them.
Yeah, but is that going to make them change their position?
It might make the people who are watching them, it might be influence them, less likely to be influence them. And it might, again, if they can't answer this, that does have an effect on the discourse and the impact of the audience. I think that is absolutely something that we should do. And to Josh Shapiro specifically, and this is why I have a large problem with a lot of the far left, is Josh Shapiro is my governor. I'm in Pennsylvania right now, as some of you know, and now I guess all of you know. He has a huge bipartisan support in this state because he's effective at what he does. If he was our 2028 candidate, we would have the highest chance of winning. But the problem is that in the primary, he has a very low chance of winning because leftists, far leftists, do not like him for a variety of reasons. The same reasons that make him very electorally viable on a national stage in the general makes him hard to get across the finish line in a primary. I think that dynamic is hurting Democrats and we need to change it. That is my argument against the far left.
Okay, right. But like, let's use an example. So if I were to look at you, Hutch, and I said, that shirt is a stupid fucking white shirt. It's ugly. I hate it. And it's ruining all the other shirts. I think when you put it in your closet, that shirt is just ruining everyone else. Instead of saying, hey, that shirt, maybe it seems like it doesn't match the rest of your wardrobe. Maybe we can talk about like why you chose it or why you think that it's a good shirt.
I understand the point that I think you're trying to make. I find the analogy to be a bit, I'm going to say dubious, because I think fashion decisions are in a totally different universe than something that is as impactful as elections. And so, you know, if somebody has a mild criticism or if someone has a sharp criticism, as long as it's rooted in some kind of actual analysis and it's fact-based, then I'm not going to get into a knockdown, drag-out war with someone. But the second you start, there's a difference between criticizing the Democratic Party and then like accusing people of covering up murder and, you know, being paid to celebrate genocide. Would you concede that those two things that I'm talking about are a significant, like way beyond just, you know, oh, I didn't like this policy that they advocated for?
Sure, they're far beyond, but you can also just ask them where they got that position from, why do they believe that, and what is making them hold that position.
I do.
You can just always talk to them.
No, I do.
Right?
I do. I usually in those moments, I'm like, show me your source. Let me see this. Look it up right now.
Well,
Google
you're
it,
saying
pull it up.
show me your source. You're not talking to them. You're saying prove it.
Yeah.
That's not. So what you're doing basically is putting them on the ropes, and instead of saying, well, I don't think that position is a very strong position to hold because I think whatever source or whatever, if you do make them provide a source, is proving that or is beneficial. It honestly doesn't make any sense to me to go against people who are already potentially on your side and to make them, I don't know, feel bad. Is that like, what is the point? What is the point of putting them down?
Well, do you think that me and Kyle Kalinske are on the same side?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't.
Here, let me tell you what my side is. Like, I'll repeat myself. Like, my side is, I think that America is in a moment of triage right now. Did my stream go down or are we good? Well, America is in a moment of triage right now. So the number one priority that we have to keep our focus on right now is beating Republicans in elections. If that means running a candidate like Dan Osborne in Nebraska, who is well to the right of the median Democrat, if that person has the best chance of winning that seat, fucking do it. Let's go. Supporting Joe Manchin in West Virginia, do it. Let's go. Grow the coalition. Take power from them. Make sure that they have no power to do the things that they're doing currently. That is where I'm at. Do you think that do you think that Kyle Kulinski shares the same goal and Hassan?
I can't say if they.
I'm sorry.
I can't say if they say that share the same goal, but what you should be doing is instead of saying like, well, what are they doing and what are they saying, or do we agree with them? You should instead look at the poll numbers and say like, we've seen dramatic swings in Democrat support over multiple states. We've seen Democrat wins in multiple elections, so we're already seeing that happening. And I don't think influence from like streamers. I'm sorry, I don't think influence from streamers is necessarily gonna overall change that, especially not fighting with people on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's not a good position to take when you're supposed to be fighting the Republicans, and if part of fighting the Republicans is fighting the Democrats, it just doesn't make any sense.
No, but I think you dodged my question respectfully, because you said, I don't think I can answer that, but I think you can. I mean, what does your intuition tell you? I just told you my goal. Do you think Kyle Kulinski and Hassan share the same goal? If you had to guess.
I can't say, I can't speak for them. I don't know. I can't read their mind. I don't know what their goal is.
You can't answer if you think that Hassan Piker would be willing to stump for a moderate in a moderate district. You can't answer that question.
He might be. I don't watch Hassan.
Okay. I will say he is not going to do that. And therefore, we are not in the same coalition. We have very different goals. That's my point. So, and I think his approach I think Kyle Kulinski, he's so careless with the stuff that he says. He seems to not do any kind of rigorous fact checking on the claims that he makes. I think that you should have pride in what you do. If you're going to cover politics online, you should put more work into it instead of repeating these outrageous claims. Like to say that Gavin Newsom vetoed single payer in California, that is just not true. And this guy has an audience. Sometimes those videos get 500,000, 1 million, 2 million. You can't tell me that that's not influential. Like, I'm not telling you that he's the reason why Democrats lose elections sometimes, but you can't tell me he has no influence. And I think if you have influence, you should have a standard. You should have a standard of trying your absolute best to make sure that you are trafficking in information that is correct. And the critiques that he has for the Democratic Party is often, the premise is so flawed that it's ridiculous, or he'll oftentimes just say things that are just false. That results in the vote being depressed. He is depressing voters when he says this stuff about like Gavin Newsom, for example.
Okay, quick question to Loki. Do you have the tweet? If not,
I did. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had Frogmouth muted from the pit, so I didn't know that they were talking originally when I interrupted first. I did find the tweet. I misread the tweet because it was a screenshot of you talking to her in like 2024. You just had it in your replies. You guys were arguing about Israel and Palestine, but the broader conversation was about,
okay, so it wasn't
now, Hutch.
So you just misread it, and it was you made a mistake. Is that the?
Yes.
The people I was tangoing with on Twitter the last couple days were anti-Democratic Party leftists. So those are my opposition, and I think if you want, say, for example, the police, the ICE shootings in Minnesota, if you want that to stop, I think you should join my team and oppose the people that are helping Donald Trump win elections. Please join me. That would be great if we could be on the same page about that. If you think that we can, well, then you should be sharing my critique. I don't know why you would have a problem with me going after people that are harming that goal.
Because these people are nobodies.
You can say that all you want. Like, there's just these small beans people on the internet that have no influence.
They call themselves anti-electoral leftists. right?
Okay,
They
again,
call
this is how
themselves
the right wins is they bring on nobodies and make them representatives of the side
it's
that
not the
they
same.
don't like,
No, it's not,
and
I'm
then
sorry, it's not
again, that's
the
how
same.
a lot of rightists believe,
No,
right?
you're
It
not
just
bringing
works.
these people- you're arguing
It's
with them on
proven to
Twitter.
work. Libs of TikTok does this. Charlie Kirk did this. All these, it's a formula, and it
Charlie
works.
Kirk-
Why
Charlie
wouldn't we
Kirk
copy that
interacted-
formula?
Charlie Kirk interacted with those college students to make content so he could clip it and ship it, correct?
And Libs of TikTok takes small, very uninfluential leftists, platforms them and boosts them and say this is that writ large, and then uses it as an example to make a point, and it is very effective. So when Hutch does that with even small itty bitty leftists, he's making a larger point. I think that's effective, but we do got to cycle you guys out. I love you guys.
Wouldn't you rather do it with Republicans?
One last thing.
I do.
I'll let Frog mouth.
Well, yeah, I understand that you do, but like, so you mentioned like they
no, I'm sorry, Alish. We gotta cycle out.
All right.
So I want to let
They
Loki have the
didn't
last
get
word,
a
and
lot
then we're
of.
gonna
They didn't
cycle
get a
you.
lot of time. I'm so curious about. Do you mind if I just?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, is this Owlish? Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
So with the video that you were talking about, did you make like a counter video that was counter to the person who made it, or did you make a video countering the actual information?
Which
in the
video?
I think you were talking about a video that somebody produced that got a ton of views because it had a bunch of
Oh
misinformation.
yeah. That
in
was
it.
a Kyle Kalinske video. I mean, I talked about it on my stream. My editor is probably going to cut a video from that, put it up on the channel, my modest sized channel that gets like modest views. But yeah.
So, like, what's more important to you? Is it more important to you to go after that person or actually correct the misinformation? Because for me, it would be more important to me to correct the misinformation and kind of say, well, I don't think that this is correct, but this is what I think it should be. Because it seems like in every situation that Wick has given, it's left platforming the right and right platforming the left, and never left platforming its own side to.
What are we doing today?
Huh?
Left is platforming the left today.
Well, yeah.
Well, but
I guess
it was after you platformed the Proud Boy. Wait, come on.
I'm
just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm contractually obligated. I'm obligated to bring up the Proud Boy at least 2 more times.
Who's contracting you to do that?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I think you're assuming good faith, and I think maybe I would just jump to a conclusion that you have a optimistic view about people, but with some creators there's a pervasive pattern of completely reckless behavior and dishonest behavior. Like Hassan Piker is blatantly dishonest. Kyle Kalinske, I think, is blatantly, pervasively, continuously, totally reckless with the stuff that he puts out there. He will make wild claims that have no basis in reality. And the idea that I can go in there and be really nice and be like, did you actually fact check this? And, actually, maybe, and be like nice about it. And they would be, he's been doing this for 15 years. He's not going to stop doing this. I'm not going to change him. That's not how, if I felt like that was possible with people, then I would take that avenue. But I don't think that's possible with people that have been doing the same kind of shtick for like 15 years.
Okay. I can't really. We're trying to, I guess, Wick's trying to kick us out. So.
I'm going to answer the question more directly here about.
Yeah, I'll ask you a question more directly. Hutch saved you guys, by the way. So,
Yeah.
Thank you, Hutch.
I'm just going to answer Hutch's.
Nice to meet you.
Sorry.
Nice to meet you.
See ya. Just to answer Hutch's question more directly when it comes to Kyle and Hassan being on the same team as him. I think that Kyle is on the same team as you. I don't know about Hassan. I think that's also kind of irrelevant. Not everybody's going to be on the same side. Maybe on certain things, but maybe not in the totality of their political worldview. But Kyle definitely is on the same side. You may not like what Kyle says, but Kyle has been doing this for 10 years, and Kyle is a leftist. We're going to look at things from our leftist perspective, from our leftist lenses, and that's what we're going to do. And you're not going to change him, because why should he have to change to comfort so you feel more comfortable about having him in some type of coalition? I'm sorry, but
I'm not asking him to change his ideology. I'm asking him to be more rigorous in his in the way that he. Huh?
Just like you can't ask him to do that, because what you deem as rigorous, is something that he may deem as not rigorous enough, or
he's
or
objectively
Hold on.
objectively.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Yeah.
He is objectively reckless with the stuff that he puts out there. He does this constantly. Okay. This is not some new thing. Like, do you think that it's responsible to tell your audience of potentially hundreds of thousands or maybe even millions, depending on the video, that Gavin Newsom vetoed a single payer healthcare bill in California? He didn't do that. Never happened. The legislature never passed a single payer bill.
Loki, here. Wait, Loki, real quick.
All I want to know real quick is this video of his about the California single payer. Is it recent? Is it like in the last week or two?
Last week is a video about Gavin Newsom. He said that Gavin Newsom vetoed single payer in California. Never happened.
Okay, I'll watch that video and then I can let you know.
Okay. Also, also something else. Okay, that like does sour Kyle for me. Even though I would nominally agree, he is on the left. Okay, but for me, it's yes, he's been doing this for 10 years. He surely knew about Project 2025. Did he endorse Democrats?
Only the Democrats that he likes. He did not endorse Hillary in 2016.
That's like this.
He did not endorse Biden in 2020. He did not endorse Kamala in 2024. He says he's going to endorse the Democrat in 2028. Okay, trust is earned. I will believe that when I see it. And he still
This is what Kyle specifically said in 2020, if I'm not mistaken. Kyle specifically said, "Hey, I live in New York. I don't want to vote for Biden. I think
that is not good enough. That's not good enough.
Doesn't meet my threshold.
Hold on, wait a minute.
No.
Wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. Saying that that's not good enough is crazy to me. It is good enough. I live in Indiana. Yes, I live in Indiana. No, when I'm asking people to vote, I don't lie to them and tell them that like they're going to make a difference like that, because you're not. Your electoral vote for president is going towards the Republican candidate. We all know that. Sure. You got to accept.
Okay. No,
he said.
As someone who lived in Florida during the 2000 election, the idea that your one little vote doesn't matter. I don't tell people that their vote doesn't matter. I don't sugarcoat. What else are you telling them when you're saying, "Hey, it doesn't matter because I live in a deep red or deep blue"? How do we think they change that?
Local politics matter.
This is not meant to be like condescending in any way. But what is the size of your platform?
I don't have a platform. I'm not looking to be a content creator.
That's fine. Okay, so then it's fine. Then, to me personally, it's fine. Then if that's like your position is that it's not gonna matter. My vote is literally gonna be thrown away. I mean, I live in a fucking red state too. I live in South Carolina. Okay, I know, but Kyle saying that it hits different, man. It's a bigger It's just a bigger platform.
Look, he said. When he was on Joe Rogan's podcast the night of the election in 2020, and Rogan asked him who he voted for, he said, "Neither. I don't vote for war criminals." He said that after 4 years of Trump. Okay, that's not good enough for me.
Okay,
that's not good enough for me.
Okay.
We are not on the same team.
Yeah, Loki and Alice, thanks for coming by. We're gonna cycle you out.
Appreciate it.
Good to talk to you. Good to meet you.
Nice talking to you guys.
And let's see, we're just guessing here. I'm trying to get one of each, but
Also, Wick, I have a bedtime, brother.
Same.
Okay, we'll make this the last group then. How's that?
We can take on one more group after that if you want.
Well, it's up to you guys. I'm for whatever. Okay, welcome callers. What do we got? What are you, Team Hutch or Team Pisco, and why?
I am Team Hutch.
Hey, Wick.
Are you Team Hutch or Pisco?
I'm definitely Team Pisco.
Perfect.
Wonderful. I got a good mix. Okay. So explain why you're Team Pisco, then I want to know why you're Team Hutch, and then we'll discuss. Go ahead.
So if I want to linearize the discussion that you're trying to have here, is whether or not Hutch's strategy is more effective or Pisco's strategy is more effective. But it sounds like Hutch is making the case that, and you potentially, that actually what Pisco is doing is actually dangerous because he's inviting wolves in sheep's clothing that he can't manage. That are
I don't know if he can't
that he
manage
work with.
them. I think that I would look. I think that what he's doing is dangerous. Yes, in that he's inviting people in that are going to leech off of people who would otherwise be democratic. Now, again, the ask I'm making is just to push back harder. That's it. Not to not have them on, but just to push back harder. That's the only ask I'm making. I think when we're looking at the effectiveness between Hutch and Pisco, I think Hutch's strategy more closely aligns with my own and is therefore more effective. That's my argument.
Just to be clear,
you're somebody that hosts discussion. You don't do like reacts generally. So you do have different streams.
Yeah, generally not. I don't do reacts usually.
Hutch, did you have something to say?
Well, I was going to say I wouldn't say that what Pisco is doing is dangerous. I wouldn't use that strong of language, but I do tell him very plainly that I think that there are opportunities to push back a bit more aggressive than he does on some things. But I don't mind that he's nicer than me. I don't think that he should be doing. I think, like, first of all, I think I'm nice, like, generally speaking. I tend to match people's energy, and if people come at me aggressively, then I usually, respond in kind. But I don't mind that he makes efforts to be civil with people that maybe even have different electoral strategy. I think there's merit to that. I just think that there's sometimes where he could, use big boy gloves with people like Vanguard when they say patently insane shit.
And just to tack on to that, I think that would be my, like, as much as I have a criticism for Hutch, it's literally the exact same thing. Like, it's in the opposite direction. Like, I'm not even saying, like, I recognize you have a strategy, it works for you, Yeah.
So it seems like generally your contest with Pisco is that he doesn't push back enough against the claims of like the donor class, the oligarch class, these people who are oppressing the leftists from achieving true political power.
Yeah, for example, Kyle Kalinske posted a video today or yesterday where he said that Democratic Party are basically Republican light. That stuff.
So
I think.
Do you think that money buys power in America?
I think
that if you have a lot of money, you can buy power?
To a certain extent, yeah. I think money influences politics, yeah.
So would you use that money to encourage the people who are going to accumulate the same power and money towards you? Or are you going to use it to fund people who actually want to take it away from you and give it to poor people, like Ice Beans?
Are you? I guess I would prefer candidates that pursue social democratic policies generally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm probably poorer than Ice Beans, to be clear. But why did you assume Ice Beans was poor? I'm just curious.
The ice bonus hasn't hit yet, Hutch. Sorry, Wick. Yeah,
Okay,
sorry.
Fair enough.
Don't.
She's my birdie peer. I gotta poke and jab at her a bit.
Okay, that's fair. Carry on.
It's not that there's no truth to the idea that money has a corrupt influence in politics, and Citizens United has created a lot of problems with that and really exacerbated that. I think of last election with the Elon Musk is just the most pronounced example of that happening. But, Nina Turner, for example, that was one of the most progressive constituencies in the entire country that she tried to win a primary in, and she lost both times. She blamed AIPAC. Cori Bush was down double digits before AIPAC spent a dime because her constituents were mad that she voted against the infrastructure bill. That pissed a lot of her. And then she tried to go to an event like celebrating it. Jamal Bowman blamed AIPAC when he was down double digits before they even spent a dime. Bernie Sanders has struggled historically to break through with black voters, older voters, Hispanic voters. And yet there's never any conversation about that. There's never any kind of actual soul searching.
Had a great video on Bernie, actually. He had a stunning video where he interviewed FD Signifier, and they talked about Bernie's rough history with the civil rights movement and performative white activism. Soypill did a great video.
Yeah.
So it's out there. And I'm curious, is this Nina Turner representative of your opinion of the party broadly? Do you have more examples of this?
Well, I just gave you a few right there.
It seems like to me, if lefties are saying insane things, you can just like let it go and trust that people will view it as insane.
Do you have an example of the contrary?
No, but I think it's a systemic problem.
Examples?
Go ahead.
Do you think it's a systemic problem?
Yes. I think it's the culture of progressive politics right now, in my opinion, is just like rotten. I think Mamdani represents a new kind of pragmatic progressivism. So I'm actually very excited to see where he goes. I want him to set a really good example of a progressive person who has bold aspirational goals, but understands practical limitations and navigates things pragmatically. I think he's doing a phenomenal job. Like he's kind of blowing me away. And so like, I want him to be I want him to lead
really
this
mad
movement.
at him. A lot of Twitter lefties were mad at him.
Right.
How much of his base do you think has actually shed away?
His own constituency, he's gotten more popular. I think his numbers went way up in the last like month. Yeah.
It's almost as if when you fight with far left Twitter people, you get more electorally viable and more popular. It's great.
He didn't fight with them. He actually just doesn't engage with them at all.
Well, he's a mayor.
He's
politician.
He's not a streamer. He's not a Twitter yapper.
Right. Yeah. He's governing. He's actually doing the damn thing.
That's correct. So I want to give a small olive branch to Hutch's position. I think since Pisco has been venturing out to reach to talk to these insane lefties that he doesn't hold quite accountable enough, these Prime Kais, these Vanguards, these Kyles, these Straighterades, I think it's associated with a pretty dramatic fall in favorability for the Democratic Party. And I think it's time that Pisco stops immediately. Right? He's a big guy. We can't have him tanking the party like this anymore. We need to tailor to the right wing more.
You're gonna have to unpack. How does this relate to me? I don't understand.
Well, the irony is that despite Pisco doing all these things and treating these lefties with, soft gloves and letting them say insane stuff, trust in the Democratic Party is continuing to fall.
It's actually not.
Broadly.
It's going up.
It seems. I just checked YouGov today.
The trend line is going up.
Since the election, it dropped.
Well, since the election, it dropped 34%. Dramatically. I mean, if you go back and you look in 2014, Republican voters polled their party lower than Democrats did after 2024. It's actually kind of normal for a party to drop in favorability quite a bit after they lose political power. I mean, they're losers, right? So like, and right now we're already
seeing. So how do we make them seem like winners? How do we make them seem like people that are able to talk to people, make bridges, have conversations happen?
You win elections.
How do we make that happen?
The Democratic Party's numbers.
You and I are not politicians. We're Twitter people. We're YouTube people. So get that out of your minds.
Okay.
How do we show people that we're winners as Democrats?
I don't know how you do it, but I usually push back.
I do it by educating my viewers.
Well, let Hutch answer your question. Like you asked Hutch a question, let Hutch answer it. Go ahead, Hutch.
I think I do the same in my own way. I mean, however way you do it, that's fine. But I don't just like do
Hutch, I'm sorry. You are as lazy and incurious as you accuse Hassan of.
Explain.
That's not to say I don't like your platform. I think you should stop what you're doing.
Can I get an example?
I think you should have a little bit of humility.
Can I get an example?
Anytime that you think something or like you're unsure about something, you literally just ask ChatGPT. Your mind is wasting away with this stuff.
Wait a second. So you just said that if I don't know something, I look up what the answer of the thing is, and you're calling me lazy?
With ChatGPT, yeah.
Also with a Google search engine.
Look, Hutch, I
I
stopped watching your stream for a reason.
Bro. You just called me lazy, and your reasoning was that I look things up.
Lazy and incurious.
You just said I look things up when I don't know things. Am I incurious?
Like
am I incurious or am I curious?
With like winners and losers and Democrats, right? You're not accurately representing what I'm saying.
What have I gotten wrong?
Just real quick, I just need to call this out because it's important. Hold on. It's important I push
what have I gotten wrong?
Hold on, stop, please. I don't know why people keep talking over me all the time on my own show, but whatever it is. But this whole thing, I think it's important to push back. How dare you not know things just out from the womb, Hutch? What are we doing? How dare you get on stream not knowing things? That is the most irresponsible thing that I have ever heard. And when you don't know something and someone brings up something you don't know, you fucking look up the answer. That's cheating. Okay.
ChatGPT is a useful tool. So ChatGPT, if you ask ChatGPT, for example, what was the congressional makeup in 1972? It's generally pretty good at that stuff. And you click on the sources, or tell me what the poll said about this issue at this time, and then you click on those sources, if that's your biggest complaint about me, I also use search engines. Wikipedia, is that lazy? I find that preposterous. You tried to make the case that I'm lazy, and the way you tried to make the case was by saying that I look things up when I don't know the answer to something. That's fucking ridiculous, bro.
It is ridiculous because that's not what I said. I said you use ChatGPT to look
that
things
is
up.
exactly
You don't go
what
further
you
than
said.
the AI summary that Google gives you.
That is not
he
true.
Just said he
The
clicks on the
primary
sources.
That is
he just
not
said he clicks
true.
on the
No, he
sources
does
that
not.
they
No, he does
reference.
not.
Yes,
No, he
the
does not.
fuck I do, and I
He
also
is
spend
lazy and
time
as
off
incurious
stream.
as Hassan.
It's funny
And
you
if
can't
Hassan
give
is
me
incredibly popular, I
a
think Hutch can
single
be popular
example.
too.
No, you can't give me a single example. You're
Because I don't watch your stream.
Then what the fuck
how
do you know about how I
Literally,
operate?
like, I stopped watching your content 3 months ago.
Okay.
I can't take it.
3 months ago, and you can't give me a
Hassan is
single
lazy and
example.
curious, and you can't like verify things yourself.
I do this constantly on my stream, bro. Constantly, I'm like looking up like what the like ask my chat. They're in my chat every day. They fact check me on stuff, and sometimes I get stuff wrong, and they'll send me a fact check, and I'll be like, oh fuck, I definitely got that wrong. Thank you for that. I am open-minded when it comes to these kinds of things. Everybody has these kinds of biases, and that's unavoidable. But I am like, I feel pretty confident in the amount of work that I put in to try to understand things before I talk about them. And if I don't understand the thing that people are talking about, I tell them. Stuff in Venezuela popped off. I told my chat, I'm like, you got the wrong streamer. I don't know fucking shit about Venezuela.
Okay.
I'm not
Actually,
even going to
remember
pretend.
an example.
All right.
Oh, you remember an example? Let's hear it.
I do remember an example because it isn't just about, having the knowledge. It's about also having the curiosity to pursue the edge cases, exceptions to the rule, that sort of thing. That's intellectual honesty. I remember when you were on this FDR rant, on the sort of like FDR kit, you were pining for the days that we had this insane, massive Democrat coalition.
I remember.
And that's awesome. I like that too.
I remember.
Now, hold on. When we're talking about FDR, we need to give the full picture of FDR.
I agree.
That means
I agree.
Japanese internment camps. That means sending men to their death. There's a lot of negative sides,
It was the best of times and the
including
worst of times.
active racism against Chinese, Japanese, etc., Latin Americans.
Silly human being. Because if you were in my chat when I was talking about
I'm a bird.
FDR, if you were in my chat when I was talking about FDR, what I was saying was that the current crop of lefties that complained that Joe Biden couldn't get bills passed like FDR did, I pushed back and I said the reason why FDR was able to pass the insane amount of transformational legislation that he was able to do was because he had fucking super majorities in Congress, and 1/3 of those majorities were racist segregationists. You think that I didn't talk about Japanese internment camp with FDR? Whose stream were you watching? Not mine.
Hutch,
Okay. We do need to get the other caller in here a little bit.
You just got that wrong, bro. You have no fucking idea what you're talking about. You got that so wrong.
Let's give your defender. Let's give your defender.
You got that so wrong.
Bobza, go ahead. Give us what you got.
I'm a Hutch supporter here, but I would go maybe even further. I think that if a Democrat like Newsom, was the candidate, I think he should run on policies such as removing nonsense gun regulations, pushing for more gun training, gun storage security, accountability for breaking gun laws. I think that he should have a complete condemnation of the communist rhetoric. I think he should have condemnation of defunding the police. I think he should have a condemnation of the allowal of rampant immigration or illegal immigration into the country. I think he should run on all of those, and he should stump on those. And I think that when people, say that Hutch is wasting his time here, I think they're discrediting the amount of weight or the anchor that is the leftist movement. When the common person, which I live in Florida, right? So it's a pretty purple state. A lot of, I have a pretty.
Well, they deported all the Democrats already, so it's pretty red.
Yeah. So I like a lot of my social circles are maybe right leaning or maybe centrist or whatever. They conflate Democrats as communists, as progressives, as like the kind of like performative, oh, you shouldn't say this thing, tone policing, all that stuff. I think all that needs to go out the window. obviously it doesn't matter because the when a party loses an election, they need to go back to see, hey, what are the things that are not working? And the things that weighted down the Democratic Party, in my opinion, are the things that I listed out.
So do you think it's interesting that the Democratic Party has not released their analysis on why the 2024 election went wrong? And follow-up question for you, Babsa. Do you think if Newsom denounced communism, denounced Hassan Piker, do you think he would still be accused of being a communist?
I think that it wouldn't be enough. I think that there's a lot of people on the online sphere that think that a condemnation of something or saying that something is bad is enough. It's not enough. I think that they need to, as Hutch put it, make the leftist position something that is not fundamentally congruous with the Democratic Party. They need to make sure that they are not seen as part of the Democratic Party. So no, the condemnation is not enough. And I mean, I guess you could say it's interesting that they haven't released the results yet. I don't know. Maybe you could keep pushing for that, or maybe you can keep pushing for, the Epstein files to be released. Which one are you going to pick?
Well, they were.
Oh, so you're good with the way the Epstein files were released?
No,
you're fine with
the guy in the Epstein files is the chief executive. What do you think is going to happen?
So then there's no point.
Going to happen?
Then there's no point. There's no point in critiquing the current regime, is what you're saying.
What?
What?
There's no point. There's no point in that. There's no point in talking to the current Trump administration on that. I'm just saying that the positions that you guys take on Hutch, saying he's wasting his time talking about leftists.
Yeah, not my position.
You're just, you're coming in here to defend Pisco's position.
No, I literally, when I started talking about Hutch, I said, you're doing your thing. I think it's great. I think you can be successful.
If you weren't so bald and lazy and you didn't use ChatGPT.
Right. Thank you. That is also true. Thank you, Beans.
So just a question.
Sorry, I had to throw that one in there.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, just a question. So, the leftists and their
Side
policy
effect.
positions and their rhetoric.
With $100, keep fighting the good fight. Don't let people tell you how to use your platform. I don't plan on it.
That's just a question for the people.
The amount of mental gymnastics leftists do to paint you in a bad light is insane. I'm surprised your co-host don't back you on this point.
Impact on any
Thank you very much for the donation, buddy.
What about you, Ice? Do you agree with that?
I'm so sorry. I was typing out.
It's fine.
Yeah, no. Go ahead, real quick though.
No. It's the leftists, their policy positions, their rhetoric. Did they cause a significant swing in the presidential election?
Did they cause a swing?
Yeah. Was there a significant swing in the presidential election due to the leftist rhetoric, policy positions, etc.?
I don't know if I agree with.
She's cutting out.
I will say that was more of a thing in 2020 and 2024. Obviously,
I think it could. I think I agree with Hutch in that it contributed. I don't know if I would say that it was like a massive swing or I think that. Again, like autopsy of the 2024 election. I think incumbents everywhere were fucked.
It's actually not. It's actually not like the leftists broadly that were causing the biggest problems. It was the fact that like the small donor groups and the smaller PACs they held positions that were well to the left of the median Democratic voter, and they were pressuring Democratic politicians to like sign pledges to sign on to certain policies. I don't recall all the particulars to get into the details, but there have been multiple like post-mortem analyses of kind of like where the Democratic Party has like why they've shifted away from the electorate and why the electorate has shifted away from them, and that was one of the problems.
Okay.
I will say I'm open to hearing that, because I will say that like I haven't done, even though I sound like I'm tired of them already, and I kind of am. I haven't done nearly as many post-mortem like autopsies and shit. So I'm open to hearing it. I'm not that well informed on that particular front.
Wait, Dispell, I have a question for you.
I do have to peace out. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Ice Beans, a link to her channel is in my YouTube description. She was kind enough to be my co-host. Ice Beans, we'll see you later. Bye-bye, Ice Beans.
Bye-bye.
Bye, have a good night.
Okay, ask your question to Dispel here.
Okay, Dispel, do you agree with me that leftists romanticize FDR and hold the current Democratic Party to unreasonable standards by comparing people like Biden to FDR?
I think it is unreasonable to compare Biden's ability to pass bills to FDR, 100%.
And do you agree with me that the reason why FDR was able to pass a sweeping agenda was because he built a very unconventional coalition that included segregationists?
He was racist.
Okay, that was the point I was making to my chat. So it sounds like we agree, but you just used that example to say that I was incurious.
Now, yes or no? Yes or no? Do you think the Democrats should be racist?
No.
Okay, let me ask you this then, Dispel.
That was
if
tough.
the Democrats were to, if it was a choice and there was two binaries, two paths,
Prime Kaye. Oh my God.
100% certain that if the Democratic Party was, let's say, 20% more racist, that they would beat MAGA, and MAGA would be beaten in the elections, and we would be able to get rid of ICE. We would be able to get trans rights in there. We would be able to get all sorts of things that the progressives have wanted for decades. Would you make that choice? Would you go 20% more racist?
Is that a question for me?
I mean, I think,
no, this is for Dispel.
No, I mean, I would say that the Democrats are already pretty racist, especially with, you know, their DEI policies. Like,
stay within the hypothetical.
20% more, preserving the idea of race.
20% more than we are now, and you get to beat MAGA.
I'm sorry, Wick. I don't know what the Constitution
has ended.
Means.
All that.
I think he's a conservative.
I'm a human being. Sorry, I'm a bird. I don't know what 20% more racist means.
I don't think he's like a lefty. I think he's a conservative. I don't know what the fuck he is.
I am a lefty, Hutch. Hutch, by the way,
obviously a lefty.
For you and I to debate the 2016 primary. Open invitation. I think you've got it completely backwards, and there's a very solid case that Benny was shafted.
Frankly, I find you incurious and lazy, so I don't know if it's worth my time.
Ooh. Damn, maybe bird brains.
Okay.
So
Dispel,
just a quick thing though for Dispel.
Quick thing, then we got a cycle, and we get one more, then we're gonna end. But
so if the leftists and their policy positions and whatever, they didn't have a significant impact on the last election. If they didn't have a significant impact, why would we want to appeal to them right now? Why would we want to do that?
The protest voters didn't have.
Sure. Why would we want to appeal to them if they didn't have a significant impact with the last election? If they didn't have a significant impact, why would we want to appeal to them now if they're so insignificant?
I don't think they're insignificant. I think a lot of them.
You said they didn't have a significant impact.
I said the protest voters.
You said they're red. My question was the leftists, their policy positions, their rhetoric. Did that have a significant impact on the last election? And you said it did not. So why would we appeal to them right now? They're not significant.
Have an outcome determinative effect in any of the counties. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
No, you're not answering. Do you understand the difference between lefties? You're trying to change the parameters of the question I asked you to make it seem like.
The difference between lefties and protest voters is that protest voters are people who are bought by the Russian propaganda of Jill Stein.
Oh my God.
Okay.
So it's just propaganda.
Yeah. Thank you both for coming on.
Wait, what's propaganda about that?
You guys can fight in the backstage about that. We love you.
Bob,
okay.
Thank you, Wick. Appreciate it.
Oh, and to be clear, when I mean say 20% more racist, I mean we use the F slur now. Okay. So okay, this will be the last group, and then we'll let you go because I know you got a bedtime. Let's see. We'll get.
That was crazy. That was crazy. That guy. That was crazy.
You look the fact that you look stuff up.
I know.
It's fucking
it's super cringe. Super cringe.
I don't know. Okay, we have the last two of the night. What do you got? Are you team Pisco? Are you team Hutch? What are you? Let's hear it.
So we can start with me. I'm team Hutch. For those in the YouTube chat, this is
Danya. Let's go.
Actually, wait, can I start off with something real quick first?
Depends what it is. Go ahead.
There's an individual in your chat by the name of Acreel who is making a claim. And the claim he is making is that John Fetterman is no different than a Republican in the U.S. Congress. So I presented Mr. Acreel with a bet. And the bet was, does he think John Fetterman votes with Democrats, or you can say the Democratic president last time, Joe Biden, more than the average Republican congressperson? He proposed $0. I proposed $500. He seems to have a very strong opinion of this. So I'm curious, why won't he take that bet?
Because obviously we can have our issues with Fetterman, and I do, but he most of his votes is with he caucuses with Democrats. Most of his votes are with Democrats and have been since he got elected.
No,
I don't know the precise percentage. I could look it up for you, but he absolutely. I would be surprised if it was less than 80%.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. This Acreal guy seems to have a real strong opinion that it isn't that. So I'm just wondering why you won't take that bet.
Let's not get sidetracked. Let's not get sidetracked here.
Fair enough. We can bring this up. He'll show up on your stream tomorrow, Hutch.
I'm sure he will. Yeah.
Okay, what do you got? What do you got for the actual for Hutch and Pisco question, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think like with the nature of this question, it's like, do I think one of these two is doing the wrong thing? Do I think one of these two is like wasting their time?
Hold on, real quick. I'm sorry for getting distracted here. Hal 9000 accuses me of voting for Fetterman, and yes, I did. I voted for Fetterman against fucking Oz. Yes, and I do it again. Why would I never vote? Why would I ever vote for Oz? That guy, that weirdo. Okay, I think that was his name, right?
Wait,
yeah,
he's asking you, why would you vote for a McDonald's hamburger over a cow pie?
Because one is shit and the other is just a hamburger.
It's okay. It's
okay. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted. But this question, you would vote for Fetterman over Dr. Oz? Yes. Yes, I do that again. I do that 1,000 times. I do that 1,000,000 times. This idea that Oz, Dr. Oz, and Fetterman are the same is okay. Sorry, that's it's. I want to say slurs, but I won't.
Oh, Jesus.
No. I guess my point is like, I think that like, I think the approach Hutch takes with these leftists is the right approach. The reason I think this approach is correct is because I think the core of who these leftists are is ultimately authoritarian. I can point to examples of them being authoritarian. I mean, Hassan's the easy example, but like even the Vanguard guys in your conversation with them on Live and Learn all like a year ago, they said on this call, that they would have wanted Joe Biden to direct the DOJ to investigate Joe Manchin for corruption for not agreeing to Joe Biden's agenda. And if Trump were to do that, we'd call that authoritarian. And I think that is the core of what they do. And I think you deal with authoritarians by making them look weak, because I think they want to look strong. And when you make them look weak, that damages their audience. I think Pisco's approach isn't working. One, I don't know, he's been doing this for a year. I don't think if he can point to a single measurable impact on moving these people. It's interesting, Ogreboy was here earlier. Ogreboy told Pisco on a stream that he really respects that Pisco reaches out and makes Pisco's criticisms, them willing to accept Pisco's criticisms more. And then Pisco asked Ogreboy, did Hassan shock his dog? And Ogreboy couldn't answer that question. I think it's okay totally to platform whoever, but if you look like you're vibing with that person, then like that's going to raise an issue. And I think when you don't adequately push back,
yeah, Vishy, I'm sorry. I wish you should. We got to have you back on and let you talk a little bit longer.
Lying. I don't think that's this sort of olive branch you want to be making to that group. I think you want to. If these people are going to be so turned off if you push back on them when they say something that's false, then they're probably not worth being reached out to. That's my case.
Okay. Schwanko, what do you got?
What's up, buddy?
You team Pisco?
Yeah, well, of course it's Hutch. Duh. Like,
fair enough.
Hutch, you.
What do you got? Give us a guy. Maybe this will be a boring.
Bastard. Well, how you doing, Hutch?
Wait, who's this?
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
What's the name?
Schwango.
Oh, have we spoken about? Your voice is familiar.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys that if you see me, I'm that guy that everyone goes, "What high school did you go to?" Like everyone swears they know me. I swear to Christ. Either way, I'm saying big fan. All right. But I do have a question for you.
Oh boy.
I guess it's more about maybe this will help sharpen up. You know, you probably already think this, but let me just see if I can articulate it a little for you. The big issue is, you know, let's get deep here. As a species, we are pattern-seeking animals, correct?
Mhm.
The most common pattern we seek is stability. I would argue, meaning transport yourself into the jungle with a loincloth. First thing you're gonna do is panic because of how fucking unstable it is, right?
Okay, yeah, it gets a little dicey with unmedicated bipolar, but yes, I take your point.
Okay, right. So once you stabilize, right, now you can start focusing on more abstract concepts, right?
Yeah.
Like
Maslow's hierarchy of needs and whatnot.
Correct. All right. I tried to explain that to Prime Kai, and he was just pissed that I didn't care about a genocide in Gaza.
Of course he did. Yeah.
You're right. It was so insufferable. Oh my God. Like, it's just like, give me
Okay,
a short.
I just want to make sure that this isn't the stream where we like just shit on people who aren't here all the time, right?
Shit on people who are worth shitting on.
Okay,
well,
let's get this back on track. Let's get it back on track. We're talking about patterns.
But like that. Okay. Wix just all like, hey, wait, you're not picking at this scab, are you? And he starts picking at it. You know,
right. Patterns, stability.
Right. Okay. So the issue is entertaining people who definitionally want something unstable. Why?
Mm-hmm. You mean like the audience of like Hassan and Kyle Kalinske?
Yes.
Yeah. So
definitionally, they want something unstable because they've been suckered into thinking.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
That.
Yeah. I think they're attracted to the chaos. I think they like the chaos. Yeah.
Well, it's not even so much that they like it; it's the stagnation from the stability, which is a reasonable critique. That too much stability will bring about stagnation, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, that doesn't mean that we throw it away and start over.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I'm following you. Yeah, I agree.
But entertaining people that think that's the only, I mean, because as Dev pointed out, as I talked to him a little bit backstage, but as this is why the left and MAGA are the same, because Trump ran on, I am going to destroy everything and rebuild it in the image that all of you like and want, right? Trust me, I'm funny. I rattle off, I piss off the establishment. And then
it's a
what
symbiotic,
happens is they rebuild a world for them.
It's a symbiotic relationship where the creator radicalizes the audience, and then the audience demands radical content, and then the creator gets more radical to satisfy that, which radicalizes further the audience, and so on and so forth. And then you end up with Hamas's imperfect resistance, and there were no rapes on October 7th, and Ethan killed his dog and fed his kids shit or whatever. Like that's the pipeline. Yeah.
And that wasn't a Somali pirate that Hassan was glazing.
Yeah, they were having a good time, taking drugs on the boat, just hanging out. Like it actually wasn't that bad.
Right.
Yeah, I might have even done that in my spare time. Yeah.
So, this is the crux of it, though, is that as a species we crave stability, and to welcome people into the tent, you have to at least have a foundation of provable stability. That's your entry. You can't even come in without it.
Right, I agree. Yeah,
okay, I want to take a minute and ask a couple of questions that people paid me to ask.
Okay, yeah.
Just real quick, $50 from Sonia TV to ask: is it possible that Pisco has just tapped into an available audience and is financially incentivized to speak a certain way to them, toe a certain line, and go easy on other creators that they look up to? And would that not just be good business?
You know him the best, Hutch. You know him the best. Is he that type of capitalist shark like that? Is he like Wick?
I mean, I don't like. Maybe I'm biased, but I don't like these personal attacks on his character. I don't think he's grifting. I think he has good intentions. I don't think. I don't think he would deliberately.
Is he naive then? Would you say he's being naive?
Oh yeah, I would say that a bit about well, not naive, not necessarily, but I don't know if he's seen the same content that I have when it comes to Vanguard and Kyle. So when he says, "Oh, I don't think Vanguard and Kyle are, I don't think they're destructive to the Democratic Party or they're trying to drag the party down," I think okay, well, let me send a few videos your way, and then you'll see that that's not the case, or that is the case.
Okay, the second question that I got for $20. Oh God, pottering politics for $20. Ask Hutch to explain the Green Lantern theory of politics. Wick said he doesn't know. I know what it is. Okay.
Okay,
He's
so
lying.
there's a character in DC Comics called the Green Lantern who has a ring through which he can will certain things into existence. For example, a giant sledgehammer or even a Gatling gun. And the Green Lantern theory of politics is the theory that the party that is in charge can basically do whatever they want with no limitations if they just had a sufficient amount of either charisma or a will to fight. So for example, the fact that Joe Biden couldn't get a $15 an hour minimum wage passed or codify Roe or, public option, it wasn't because he only had 50 votes in the Senate and you need 60 votes to pass these policies. It was because he just didn't try hard enough. That's basically it in a nutshell. And it's pervasive in progressive spaces. They think that Biden should have been able to basically do anything. They will not accept that Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin were going to say no, and there was nothing he could do about that on a number of issues. They won't accept that. They think it was just him not doing his job.
Can I jump in real quick? Like the Kyrsten Sinema thing. The Kyrsten Sinema thing is kind of funny to me because we've talked about this. Like the Democratic Party of Arizona punished Kyrsten Sinema. They censured her. They effectively kicked her out of the party. And in 2022, and what did she do? She just switched to independent and served out the rest of her term and still had to be accounted for when you were trying to whip votes to pass things. So like the idea that you can just punish members of Congress and they'll do what you want, like doesn't seem to really work.
Not always. It can, but like it doesn't always work. So for example, when you have Kyrsten Sinema, I don't think she fucking gave a flying fuck about fidelity to the Democratic Party. I think she took pride in positioning herself as like the successor to John McCain's maverick kind of energy. And so I don't think the incentives would have worked on her. And I don't think there were any incentives that you could threaten Joe Manchin with that would have gotten him to budge. And the idea that you should threaten prosecution to his daughter is just fucking completely insane.
That is way two steps before. I think it's okay to pressure politicians by all means, right? But there's a line of where you just have to realize that your pressure is going to be counterproductive and not get you even closer to what you want. But I'd argue further away. Now, gang, we've gone on it for a long time. I do have to go. Josiah is mad at you, Hutch, by the way.
What?
You were supposed to lead with Josiah, I'm glad you asked.
Okay, so, yeah, I fucked that up, yeah.
But what we got coming up? So first of all, if you like this, thank you all for calling in. Right? I'm
gonna go. Thanks for having me on. I hope I didn't, impose myself. And
you're fine.
Okay.
Well, no, Wick, I was supposed to. My whole thing, I was amping up.
No, I gotta go. Oh boy, I gotta go. My cats are literally fucking murdering each other. I can hear it.